everybody, and welcome to an after show that had no show. A reason for being that exists yet does not. We're here. We don't know why, but I'm having a beer anyway. What's happening, Nick?
Well, before we get started with all the funness of this show, just to get one preliminary thing out of the way, I had absolutely nothing to do with the timing of this show. Late on time, early behind, had absolutely nothing to do with me. There's a lot of really negativity just coming off of this live chat right now. And
Schiller.
I got a wrench, and I'm not afraid to use it. I don't know how to use it, but I'm going to call Titan and just be like, "Hey, buddy, do me a solid. How do I ban certain bomb sellers?"
Yeah, where's the
live chat? I mean, just random people.
Yeah. Down in Dagobah there in the swamp, I guess there was some issues and Dunk just wasn't able to get over for the show. We were going to push it a little bit late, and then it was just too much late, and we decided that we would just continue on and do the after show even though there wasn't a show. So this isn't the after show, it's the show, but it's called the after show even though it's not. So
yeah, I can completely wrap my head around this. This we're off to a great start. I'm delighted to be here. All I'm sorry to hear about Dunk. He was a co-host.
Yeah. At this point, we think his mother-in-law has chewed him up and swallowed him, and we're not sure if he's going to get spat out or not.
We're waiting to hear back.
Yeah. But there's a few things that we were going to talk about in the 42 show. One of them came to my attention quite literally right before showtime. And I want to get in on this before we have a couple of tirades and things we're going to go on here, but I wanted to get in on this one first. So Intel has released its new series of processors. Okay. Now they're starting to clean up the name. Because if you notice, the top of the line is now called the Intel Core Ultra 9, and its model number is the 285. So the Ultra 9 series has a model number of 285. So that makes sense to everyone and should be easy to figure out, right? But I'm a Mac guy for the most part. I use Windows as well, but I'm using a Mac Studio right now, and I have the earlier M1 processor Mac Studio, and I happen to have the Ultra chip, the top of the line one. So I just wanted to do a quick comparison with the Intel chip here. So as you can see, the Intel chip is the top of the line one there is a 24 core processor. And if you know anything about these things, even if you don't, 24 is better than 18, which is better than 12, which is, you get the idea here, right? More is better. It's got 24 cores. Sounds great, right? Well, not so much, because only 8 of them are true performance cores, the ones that really kick ass and get work done for you. The other 16 are efficiency cores. Now, how many little wimpy ass efficiency cores does one system need to just do little background things and maybe like wimpy websites and stuff just to save electricity until you really need horsepower? When you really need horsepower, you don't need a whole bunch of crappy things. Like, you don't put 16 hamsters in wheels underneath the hood of your car because, well, 16 is better than 4. You know what I mean? As a comparison, my Mac chip, which is the Ultra, so it's Apple's best one, has 20 cores. So I have 4 less. Okay, sure. But I have 16 performance cores and 4 efficiency cores because that makes sense. And, Nick, I'm not wrong here, even though Intel has done a good thing. Their new chips will take them into the future way better than their old architecture for energy efficiency and stuff. It's really true. But I think they're pushing for efficiency too hard by giving you 16 efficiency and only 8 performance.
Well, on the 16 efficiency, that you get a huge drop off.
Massive.
In what they can do, because there's only so much. It's sort of like if you double the number of performance cores, you don't double the performance of the and
That's right.
The whole point of the performance cores isn't actually to make it perform better. It's to increase the efficiency. I'm sorry. Did I get those reversed?
Yeah. But you're on the right track, but the wrong way around.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Efficiency cores are meant for low power, save the battery of your laptop workloads. Performance cores are what kick in and get the work done. So 16 efficiency cores, you're still going to get battery drain on a laptop, but you're not getting that much work done.
And there's no point in having really more efficiency cores than you have performance cores. I mean, you might measure a difference if people's doing a lot of web browsing and the lower end tasks. You might notice an energy savings, but it's like you'd really have to work hard to notice it, and you would definitely notice a drop in performance overall in the CPU. It's
and you notice what they've done here. The chip below it has 8 performance cores, but only 12 efficiency. The one below it, 8 performance cores, but the one below it, 8 and 12 again. The one below it, 6 performance and 8 efficiency. And same with the one below that. That's the ratio that makes more sense to me, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, I think I personally think they've put in too many efficiency cores just to bump the chart so they can go, 24 core chip, right?
Well, that's what it is. And the efficiency cores are cheaper for them to make. So it's like they can reduce the prices but they can say, hey, we've got all these cores. Yeah, but more than half of the cores there have been capped at the knees just to save on electricity. No, it's not the same thing.
Yeah, but as I say, like and Intel's own graphs that were released, when they're looking at games, some games actually lose a couple of percent in performance on these new chips, and some games gain like 4 or 5%. And the whole time Intel just goes, but look, you've saved like 25% on your electric bill. Like, that's really what's going on here, is they're switching to the future. So it's the right thing to do. It's just a crappy year to need a CPU because there's not a real performance gain here.
Yep.
But, you know, I don't want to turn this into the tech show, so I just wanted to touch on that. I did hear rumors, Nick, about nipple clamps. Papa Teddy Bear got some toys that he was showing everybody.
Okay, my first question is, assuming that were even a thing, which it's not, who told you? Where did you hear these rumors from?
Definitely, Blonde Bombsheller told me nothing in any way, shape, or form.
Okay, no, well, that would, yeah, okay. I don't even know why I bothered asking. Well, okay, so first of all, it turns out over the what was it, on Sunday, I managed to learn a lot about nipple clamps, and it was honestly more than I needed to know. Well, that's not entirely true. The first thing I learned was, now I'm not a read the directions kind of guy, and you'd think that the name would have given off the proper usage, but I don't know. So once I realized where they actually go, things got a lot better. Well, I'm not sure that they got a lot better. They weren't as bad. So the pain level dropped dramatically when I said, "Oh, that's why they're."
Yeah, you could piss without making a mess.
Yeah, and it turns out some of your audience apparently was there for this conversation. It was, I think, unprofessional. My lawyers are contacting that channel to discuss this, but I think it was we really didn't need to go into my personal life, and I think you shouldn't judge someone for how they use nipple clamps. Is just what I'm saying. So it's okay. And then you have to bring up the trauma again. So now it's like PTSD on top of PT.
Here's the thing: there's a right way and a wrong way to cure the drip. Just saying.
Thanks for explaining that now. I got it figured out. I did. I got it figured out. No thanks to the live chat. And I get to get it on clips every day from head mods and people who claim to love me, but obviously are really enjoying significant discomfort that had nothing to do with the particular placement of the plans at that time. But I'm just going to say, if you're going to use nipple clamps, I think that's perfectly fine. They are surprisingly complicated to use, and I do suggest you read the directions.
And very clampy.
Well, it's where they clamp that is the issue. And so just read the directions. Don't be the man. I'm not going to read, like, I don't take directions. I don't read the map kind of shit. That's a really bad thing. I can just imagine if you had like a fly on the wall that could give you a report, you know. All I heard was, holy shit, why aren't these things fucking curved? Yeah, I think I'm okay. I'm definitely gonna need to use this I'm gonna need to use this wrench here, because I just think I feel like a guest host should get more. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, thank you. Should get at least a little more dignity and respect. I mean, I'm aware of the show I'm on. Dignity and respect isn't necessarily anywhere near or remotely close to the title of this show, but
no. Yeah, I never receive any. So
yeah, I know. It's just, it was, well, I'm glad we didn't get into the butt. turns out those even more important to read the instructions. I'm just saying.
True. True. Strange way to stir a cup of tea. You know. Yeah. Yeah. You know, it takes up so much of the cup, you can't really get a stir motion going on.
I'm just trying to look back and try to figure out, okay, 15, 20 minutes ago, that was the last time I ever will have had dignity or respect from
So I want to do my yearly thing about Halloween.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want, Dick. I'm out. I'm done. This nipple clamp thing just should never have been brought up. It was really unprofessional. You're passing these rumors along. I have no idea what you're talking about. It depends. I suppose it depends on what your definition of the word is. Along with your definition of the word nipple. That's actually a bit more important. That's you got to get that one right, it turns out.
Nipple. Oddly shaped thing that gets sweaty and sticks to your inner thigh. Nipple.
Well, that, you see, but that's what it is in Russian. So, you know, it's like, если ты можешь разговаривать русский язык, это может, you know, oh, okay, now I know what to do with it. Turns out you're not supposed to read the Russian side. Or if you do, get someone like Starsky who speaks Russian better than you do, because wow, is that not a mistake you want to make?
Translate one thing wrong and holy.
And you know, future generations of suitors can probably now never be born. I mean, it's the damage was that, you know, it's just it's if they are born, they're going to have like a flat head, because, well,
this is how
change the topic. I did not ask for this discussion here.
This is how a toilet brush became toilet paper in Rome. It was a simple translation. It's just one of those things, you know.
Oh, listen, a friend of mine, I know, for I don't know why he thought this was appropriate, but for an anniversary gift, gave me a toilet brush, which it works okay, but I do prefer toilet paper, to be quite honest.
Never found a toilet brush that had, you know, smooth enough bristles, right?
Yeah, it's a pain in. You know, I really didn't. You say you wanted to talk about like taxis or
oh yeah, we were going to talk about that. Yeah, we are going to talk about the robo taxi thing and whatnot. Musk did his whole announcement finally. Here's the two of them, right? So he's got the robo taxi, which is the car, and then there's the robo van or whatever he's calling it, which is that, futuristic bus looking thing. The bus one holds 20, but the taxi is a 2-door, 2-seater, because that makes sense to everyone.
Well, when you pull out the whole steering column and all the mechanics needed for actually driving the car, you don't want to put another person in the available space. I mean, why would you want to do that?
I know. Here, let me. Here's the car, and of course, it has silly doors. And look, there's the back. I guess is just room for luggage, but it's so sloped and stuff. There won't even be that much. There's only room for 2 people in the car. And the car uses inductive charging. There is no plugs whatsoever. Now, at this point, you know how they say, oh, the car can charge at a rate of 150 or 240, this kind of stuff, wireless charging has a rating of around 20. So they won't tell us the battery size or anything of this car, but if it's supposed to be a taxi and it's supposed to have a battery that will last long enough to be a taxi on a full shift of work, it's literally going to take 6 hours to charge this damn thing by parking over one of those stupid pads. So they must have some kind of advancement in these pads. There's no way, right? But here's the thing.
I think he's going to make up for it with quantity.
Well, that could be. He's saying they're going to be 30,000, but the Cybertruck was not supposed to be $100,000 on launch, right? He never did get the Model Y down to the price he wanted to originally. He announced in 2017 that the new Roadster was coming in 2020. It's not out yet. There's just a whole the smell of vaporware is strong with this one, Well,
and they still have, so they have two significant drawbacks depending. And this is a caveat because it's a drawback / feature. The first drawback / feature is that it kills people. It runs over people. They're still using the cameras. The software is buggy, and it kills people. So that's the first drawback feature.
Yeah.
The second drawback / feature is that it still catches on fire, and lithium battery fires are really hard to fucking put out.
Yeah, so, remember when Richard Hammond crashed the Rimac Nevera in Switzerland on the Grand Tour? The damn thing burned for 3 days, and they had to keep putting it out, man.
So here's what this is actually why I came on the show, was because of the spectacular design of these Teslas. I am very impressed, and Dick and I have agreed to co-host a fundraiser to deliver 10 of these to Ukraine, where they can just tell them to go off into the Russian lines and they're going to explode, and it'll be great. I mean, it's just
people down and
if you're using these for national defense, I think they're great. If you're using them to drive an elderly lady home I think there's problems.
Hey, Dunk, you made it.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, how's it going?
Thank God. I was worried he was going to get here before the nipple clamp thing, and would have to have his participation in that whole discussion.
Yeah. Well, the time that Dunk tried nipple clamps was crazy. Fuck, his doc got angry.
No, it's so hard to find nipple clamps for 3 nipples.
But yeah, we were just doing the whole Tesla announcement,
Okay.
Yeah. Who else but Musk would be smart enough to bring out a 2-door, 2-seater taxi? Because that's brilliant.
Well, and he literally said he said, quote, "The design is based on Blade Runner, only less dark
Useful?
and grungy."
Oh.
And I was like, do you have any idea what Blade Runner? Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
So for this and the Taxi, it's like he saw. He's like Trump now. He's like, it was on television, so it must be true.
Yeah, but it wasn't on Blade Runner. It was a flying car, and Deckard had a shitty electric car.
Yeah.
And they all had great big like boxes on the tops of the roofs, which I don't know. They had like air conditioning units on the roofs of the cars.
Yeah, it was like they were using the atmosphere because it was so bad to actually fuel the cars, right?
Well, and they didn't explode either, which I think is an important point.
Yeah.
I'd like to see one that doesn't explode. Listen, I think I agree with what you said earlier, Dick, which is basically I think all the people that are getting fired at Boeing now are just starting to work at Tesla.
Yeah, totally, man. You know, they have
doors are going to fall off.
Yeah, they have the same work model. Good enough. You know? But
and they'll be trying to get them to fly too, but it'll fly basically about as well as a Boeing will. So it's just the engineers are sitting there going like, well, not every plane has to land.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's good enough.
One thing I didn't understand about it is, okay, like you're pointing out, it's just basically a two-door car. That's kind of a cool looking car. Just make it a fucking car.
I agree. That could be the new Roadster. Just chop the top off, right?
But as a robo taxi, is that other strange slug thing that he brought out that had like 20 people inside it?
We got that. Yeah,
the bus. Let's see the bus.
Here's a picture of the interior of the bus when it's designed more in its executive mode, so it doesn't get the full 20 people. It only gets like 14 or something, right?
Yeah, it hasn't got shit on the floor yet.
It's also
where's the graffiti?
It's got like a party mode, so it actually has like a table and like so that you can be like in luxury, and for long trips you can have meals. So it's almost a little bit more like a fancy.
Does it come with a girl that dance on the table?
Yeah, it comes with a pole.
I'm just, oh my god.
Yeah, but see, the thing is though, that one made more sense.
It does, except
but only as far as like a huge. People mobile goes. As far as a taxi goes, there's some great designs for robo taxis out there.
You know what's going on. This two-door, two-seater taxi, this robo taxi thing is designed for wealthy neighborhoods. Is what's going on. This isn't designed for a family of 5 that need to get to the fucking airport. This is designed for an executive that needs to make it to his flight.
Wait, Musk is an elitist? Is that what you're saying, Dick? Really? It's almost like you've heard of the guy before.
Yeah, but he should have done it a bit like a Johnny Cab, but at least have like a chauffeur at the front of the car.
A bobblehead at least.
You turn around while he's driving. That's the other thing, is he's facing you while he's like, keep your eyes on the road. No, I don't have any eyes. I don't care. Watch the road. Well, if it makes you feel better, I guess.
Yeah. But he also said that he's going to deliver this at $30,000. Now, again, the Cybertruck came in nowhere near its price. He never got the Model 3 down to where he said it was going to. He's missed other deadlines and stuff as well. He says this is going to be ready for 2026 at a cost of $30,000. If it's ready by 2026, it will cost $60,000 first and foremost. There's no way this will ever be 30 grand. But the other thing is, there's two things actually. Back to charging, because it uses inductive charging. There's no cables at all. One thing about inductive charging is if your coils are slightly out of aligned, you get way less charging than you would if they're perfectly aligned. And that's why most things have like a magnetic pull to them to get you over the coil and whatnot. But if you put an app on your phone and check the charging and move it around your little wireless charging thing or whatever, you can see how much it drops. And wireless charging, where you drive over it, if you don't square up perfectly, it's not going to work. Well, it's not going to work as well, right?
But induction charging is really inefficient as well, though, isn't it?
Yeah, you put in a lot of electricity and you only get some into the vehicle. It's kind of wasteful.
Yeah.
But I mean,
And
because
slow.
he's going to control the entire infrastructure, I mean, there isn't going to be anybody on board. Nobody else has to park it. So the infrastructure will be designed so that like the wheels will like literally lock right into the exact place. I don't think that's going to be as big a problem. I think the big problem is that his goals right now, if I understand them correctly, is to accomplish in the next 2 years. It's an ambitious goal. He wants to in 2 years accomplish what Google and Amazon are already doing right now.
But they've been doing it for years.
Yeah.
And like we said, the sensor issue. Musk is doing this all on cameras and bullshit and bravado, where the other guys use LiDAR and stuff, true depth sensing technology.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you about the technology that's gone into it, because for it to be so much money, you must be putting new stuff into it.
Oh, you remember, Dunk?
Tesla.
Remember we had the conversation where I said they must be putting that higher end sensor technology in this, meaning that it'll eventually come to the other Tesla cars soon, making all their old cars obsolete as they go forward. They didn't. I can't believe it, because I don't think they'll ever get this into a mass market environment when the other guys have so much more behind them.
Yeah, just working on the cameras alone. That's just
bonkers, man.
That's especially when you got the sensors available.
Yeah,
they exist.
Yeah,
and that's everything you can.
That's sort of what the biggest complaint that I've seen about this, which is he makes this announcement. Everyone says, "Oh, hey, wow, it's really cool," and then nobody really sits down and breaks it down and says, "Wait a minute." He's creating an inferior product to what's already out there.
Yeah,
it's not going to have the efficiency. It's not going to, and everybody's. Why is anybody listening to him? And that's a fair fucking question. I don't have an answer.
Yeah, because industry specialists have called him out on a few angles of this. And the main two are this stupid idea of induction charging, because it's such a waste of electricity and unneeded, right? I mean, seriously, you can't make it so that you have an automated way of charging the vehicle properly if you're self-driving, and if you're going to make it so that it has like a thing to drive onto to do wireless charging, why can't it drive over something that then just injects the plug? Or to me it's but the other one is all the lack of real sensors. Nobody in the game thinks they can actually pull this off. And look to their cars right now. Their self-driving is good, but they've not given us full self-driving like they call it yet. And I don't think they ever can, because they're missing critical data that other people have. Yep,
I couldn't agree more. And I'm gonna. For a long time, a lot of people were trying to convince me that Elon Musk was an accelerationist, and I'm just like, no. I think he's just kind of a fringe.
He did feel like it when I was basically when I was a kind of like an Elon fanboy, and we were looking at the accelerationism of the Starship program. Think of the early days of Starship.
We
had the hopper out, and then the next one was bigger and better. Just things were moving so quickly, and he said, "Yeah, we're going to be in Mars in like 4 years." And you kind of go, "Yeah, we might actually do this.
Yeah,
he might actually do this." And he just seemed to be so innovative in so many ways. Then he took over Twitter, and then we found that he's an absolute moron. And then he brought out his. The robots and all that sort of stuff. Everybody's going to have one of these in their house. No, they're not.
He's deliberately trying. I think he's deliberately trying to destroy X. He's deliberately trying to destroy Tesla. And I think the reason he's doing that is because all his money is going into Bitcoin, and he thinks if he can crash the economy, he's going to be the wealthiest human being ever to have lived.
Oh, he should become president then.
Which means about as much nothing as nothing could nothing. Once you're that rich, it doesn't matter. You're not living a better life than you were. You know what I mean? It's just stupid at that point.
Yeah. And not to mention the fact that you'd have to be completely an amoral sociopath to make that as your game plan for being rich. Let me collapse the U.S. economy and make money off of decentralized currency.
Yeah, Yeah, no, there's something wrong with that, man. That's for sure. All those uber rich guys that just can't stop and have to have more and more. And I just don't get it, you know?
Lewis Black did a great bit on that. Where it's just like you get the uber rich and finally they just have to outcompete each other. It's like, yeah, this umbrella holder here cost $80 million.
Yeah.
Was made by, or, his son is just like, Daddy, I've got a great idea. Let's build a space program. Because when you take a look at how much it actually costs, I mean, there are millionaires who, if they want to put a monkey on the moon, they can do it. That's more money than the average human being, than any human being should have. But
well, even in Formula One racing right now, Lawrence Stroll, the billionaire Canadian, his child comes up through the junior ranks of racing in the European leagues, right? And when he was like 18 years old, going on 19, he got a ride in Formula One because his father stepped up and paid something like $40 million a year to a team in sponsorship to get him in the damn car. Well, after 3 years at the team was kind of like, we have other sponsorship opportunities and your kid he's not keeping up to the other guys so well, So what did Stroll do? He bought a fucking team. And then he bought the car company that goes along with it. And his son still sucks. One of those hairy things. All the guys got balls. He's just not very good. He'd be good in sports cars. Maybe, I don't even know if he could handle IndyCar, to be honest. But because his daddy is so uber rich, daddy owns a Formula One team and he owns the Aston Martin car company to go with it as well, because he wants his son to be in racing.
Well, to be fair on him, if I was in the same sort of situation, I'd do the same for my son, and I wouldn't care if he sucked at racing as long as he enjoyed himself.
Yeah, okay.
If it comes down to it, when you think about it, it's kind of a good thing to do that for your son.
Well, it is, but imagine the 800 people that work at the factory that are all like, we would have been fourth in the championship had this motherfucker scored us a couple of points. It must be tough. Imagine, you go to work in spring and you got the new driver and so you got the boss's kid, but a new driver, and everybody's all excited because the new guy's a world champion, and then you find out that you're on the boss's kid's car. So there won't be any podiums, there won't be any cheering and happiness, and it's all going to be crashed cars and shitty afternoons. That would suck.
Well, and actually, to Doug's point, because I almost said this, which is you almost actually have to say, hey, isn't he actually a good dad? Because any dad would sit there and say, I'm going to try to get you what I can to make you happy, and he just has greater means than most of us. The problem is you cannot instill in your child that they are so important that the world has to revolve around them, and that's why we get so many psychopathic Trump Juniors and shit like that, because they've had everything literally handed to them whenever they wanted it. Yeah. That is not good for the human psyche, and that is like that's instant right. Monster.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So Nick has just called me a psychopath.
No, excuse me. No, I've called you a psychopath many times before now.
Yeah.
Just now.
Yeah, it's like we were talking about this the other day.
He says like, now you're willing to raise them, but anyway.
No, we were talking about this the other day at home, and to my daughter's boyfriend, and we were talking about the fact that we got a house with a piano in it, a drum kit, guitars all over the place. And I said, yeah, well, none of them became great drummers or anything like that. Kyla's a great musician, but no one really picked up the drums. But the thing was, when I was a kid, I didn't have things like that, and I always wanted them. Yeah. So I filled the house with the things that gave them the opportunities that I never had.
Yeah. And they played Nintendo, but that yeah.
But I'm the psychopath.
No, but it's just
you're not buying an entire city to
yeah.
I mean, but if I was rich enough, I would have just bought them a band. I go, here you go. Is Pink Floyd? Now go and join them.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Or like Nick said there, Dunk, whole city. Imagine if back in the 80s your son was into playing Sim City, so you just bought him a town to fuck with. Here you go.
He becomes the mayor of the town. And just to be clear, Dunk,
He did like
your kids would be the psychopath because that's how to raise a psychopath.
Yeah.
I mean, the kids did like playing with train sets, so I did buy British Rail.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny. But, it's, I mean, Donald Trump himself is absolute proof that because your parents were successful doesn't mean that the world should have ever heard your fucking mouth open.
Well, he doesn't do anything for his kids, does he, Rick? Not really. They do play off his name, and he has given some like positions in government. But apart from that, he doesn't really.
The eldest two don't seem to like him.
No, he doesn't seem to like them, apart from his daughter, which he wants to,
I know that's sick, man.
Mm.
Take the top 20 richest guys in like in the U.S. Top 20 richest. Put them on a list. Put on one side the ones that you like, and put on the other side the ones that you don't like. And when I say like, you mean in terms of that are giving to society. You may not like Bill Gates, but he did do the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, so at least he's the ones on the like list. 90% of them earned their money themselves. The Warren Buffetts, the Virginia, and the ones on the don't like list. 90% Mitt Romney, yada yada yadas, inherited their money one way or another.
Yeah. That when you grow up a rich git, you act the part.
Yep.
But you never had to earn the right to be one.
Yep.
Right? There's a big difference, right?
It's a good job I'll never be a rich git.
I'll
just go with git.
Your green git. That way it doesn't have anything to do with money.
I can just see it when I die, they'll be reading out the will, and they'll be, portioning out my gitness to my children.
Yeah.
We're going to share your gitness around the family, 30% each.
Yeah. That'd be funny. That'd be hilarious at a fucking will reading if somebody actually did that. Well, what would your direct family? So, okay, let's say today you sit down and write one of those video. So I guess I'm dead, and you're watching this at my will reading videos, right? And then,
what I would do is I would actually find out how much money have I got in my or should we say my estate, and figure out, just say it won't be a lot. Just say I've got like £10,000, and I'll tell all my children that you've got a week to spend £10,000, and then you'll get the full.
That sounds familiar.
And they'll spend all the money, and then a week later they go to the solicitor again. No, it was a big joke.
Yeah.
Here's part 2 of the video.
Yeah. Hope you enjoyed the candy and champagne, you dummy. But what do you think your immediate family would say if you recorded one that was just all full of jokes and stuff versus all somber and all that kind of crap, like what's expected?
Maybe we should do that on a pub chat one night, and we just have to mark it and just like, children, when I die, here's a link. Go to this video and watch it.
Yeah. Well, we'll do a show coming up where we invite our viewers to come on. Everybody gets 2 minutes to say goodbye to their family, just in case of accident.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, and then that way people can just reference the show. Yeah. Well, I mean, we're going to rip the shit out of you afterwards in between each one, but you'll still get to do it.
I don't think QR code on their gravestone. A timestamp link to their show.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. I don't think I've ever said anything in under 2 minutes. I have no idea how to be able to participate.
Well, think like it's you're having sex. So Just have sex and just say it during that. You'll be done in 2 minutes.
Oh, we could have that recorded in about 22 seconds, I guess. But okay,
Not now.
work it out.
Nick's tombstone.
He just said now.
Yeah, your tombstone will be a DVD dispenser, so people can watch the long version. Hey, with Redbox, they just went bankrupt. We could use one of those as your tombstone, right? And you could just, hand out long form DVDs to people.
Redbox went. I didn't realize they were around to go bankrupt. I thought they had gone before Blockbuster did.
Yeah, no, they just finally went bankrupt, and the problem is with them being bankrupt, there's nobody to deal with all of these damn vending machines that have been left everywhere. I would personally love to get my hands on one, have my neighbor's kids over. Okay, everybody put $1 in, pick a movie.
or just crack them open. They're all yours now anyway. And just figure see what, or the return videos people have been watching.
One of those people that has like a games room with a couple arcade machines and a pinball machine and stuff, one of those DVD vending machines would be cool to have in a working condition. I think it'd be great.
Especially if you just pick a number and it picks a random video and you have to watch it.
Yeah.
Whether you want to or not.
Oh God, no.
Yeah,
I can't think of any number of.
Imagine that. Oh no, Steven Seagal. Fuck.
I was worried about something like Notting Hill, but that's believe me, that's worse than Seagal.
Yeah. I was going to bring up Steven Seagal on the 42 show because he's announced recently. What was in an interview? He said he would die for Putin. And I was just, he was this great big Hollywood stuff. And I was just thinking, sure, fill your boots.
Yeah.
Just FYI, this is not a joke. He is training the Russian military. This is not a fucking joke. That's a really good question. I don't know what he's training them in. I've seen images of him like in front of a whole bunch of soldiers, and he's like training them to fight and shit like that. Yeah. And I'm just like, well. Steven Seagal is now another weapon for the Ukrainian side.
Yeah. He is a properly trained fighter turned movie person. Like he was in his day actually able to fight properly. He just happens to be somebody that wakes up with the smell of ball sweat on his breath every morning, right?
Yeah, but he's gonna teach the Russian army how to like fist fight, like 3 feet apart, so that there's no body contact.
And
it'll be like, well, when your stuntman comes to you with a rubber knife, what do you mean? What do you mean we're not using rubber knives anymore?
He must be only kept alive by the heroin they dish him out daily or something at this point, though. Can you imagine him trying to even do the moves properly? At this point.
I can see him doing the moves. I can't see him undoing. So it's like he's going to just like do a thing. I think I'm broke. I'm stuck. I was like, okay, can someone just get the chiropractor?
Totally. Yeah, totally.
But you may be lucky and catch the Princess Bride.
He's the kind of guy that ages like an unrefrigerated egg. It's just.
I haven't heard that. Yeah.
It's not good for anyone.
I tried my best when I was doing martial arts. I tried my best to respect the guy, but it just wasn't happening.
Yeah, I hate that guy. I can't stand him.
Well, yeah. Well, and then he became a sheriff for a while. So I'm like, okay, so he's joining legendary sheriffs like Shaq.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot. Yeah. We've got a video thing to show, but finish here, and then I've got something funny.
Oh, he's one of those intolerable, like he was in the, like, okay, we have a 327 or whatever it was, and he hears it on the radio. And he's sitting shotgun, and there's a officer driving, and it's not a big deal. It's just but he's like, "Oh, that's bad news." It's like, "Oh yeah, I think he's aware the camera's on."
Now I'm sure he would be aware of that. I want to show you Yeah, everybody's heard now how Trump called out Whoopi Goldberg as being all filthy and foul mouthed, right?
No, I didn't hear this, but
Trump went at Whoopi Goldberg and another one of the hosts of The View. The other host, I read her response out yesterday on the show, and oh my God, it was unbelievable. But I want to show you what he says about Whoopi, right? So here's the thing. Let me make sure it's not muted.
No, I've hired Whoopi to work for me as a comedian before this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
A long time ago. And I went. And, I'm not particularly shy about what I hear. Her mouth was so foul. Every word out of her mouth was like the F word, that this.
Right? So now let me play you a small selection of clips of Trump speaking.
We have nobody in Washington that sits back and said, you're not going to raise that price. You understand me? In the meantime, we can't get a school built in Brooklyn. There's people screaming at him, don't say that, you stupid son of a bitch. The ocean will rise 1/100% over the next 300 years. Every place she's touched has turned to This is a bitch.
She looks like a third grade. Okay.
People understand it's bull. It's bull. The wind is bull. I think it's all bull. I got indicted more than him on bull too. You shouldn't use that kind of language. Look. You can't use the word.
One thing you can say about that, Trump, you're a
that was not my understanding with the Whoopi Goldberg thing. I just assumed he was hiring her because he was out of lawyers.
Oh, here.
I was as he's going to go into court with her. He's like, Your Honor, my lawyer is Whoopi Goldberg. She's the only one who could at least act the part.
He thought he was getting Guinan from Star Trek.
Yeah. One second here.
Don't say say instead, because at least it sounds interesting.
Okay, here. I got it. It was here. Let me read off the thing here for you, Nick. This was what's her name? Hostin, the other host of the View.
Yeah.
This was her response to Trump calling her stupid and a few things like that. She says, I want to thank you personally for telling so many lies and committing so many alleged crimes and providing us, the host of the show, with material on a daily basis. You help us do our jobs, and I'm so appreciative. Because of people like you, a former prosecutor and legal expert like me can become a fixture on a show like this. So again, I'm very grateful. She goes,
that's nice.
Oh, yeah. She goes, I admit, I may not have spent as much time in a courtroom as you have. Yeah. And she goes, but I was recognized with a special achievement award by the Department of Justice. You remember the Department of Justice, right? It's the agency that's been pursuing you for decades. And she goes on, and like Madam Vice President Kamala Harris, I've had a history of prosecuting sex offenders. So again, thank you for keeping people like us in business. And as for dumb questions, you're always welcome to come here and answer some. If sitting so close to a prosecutor won't make you nervous, I'll even give you a free View mug. I mean, not to be confused with a mugshot, because that's your area, right? And
Not say that.
Oh yeah, yeah. She literally just let him have it, man. It was one of the funniest things I ever read on the show.
I heard after that statement, she was awarded the Man of the Year award by Chrysler.
Yeah, Lee Iacocca rose from the grave to award it to her. But yeah, I just thought that was about as funny as something could be, man.
Oh,
I had to find it again.
I'm going to print that up and put it on my wall. To be
Oh,
honest,
yeah.
I'm like, that's an inspiration.
Yeah,
It's inspired.
yeah. So, what is everybody? I mean, election wise, we might as well talk about it for a minute. We got what, 3 weeks to go here? As I've been watching the polls, and it's funny when you look at sites that are very right leaning versus left leaning, the polls are different. But I would say, all in all, right now, the polls, which I don't put a lot of faith in, would generally see that Harris is up on Trump overall in the nation, I think, right now. I don't know if. Sorry?
I saw a thing yesterday when they were looking at the polls. Whose channel was it? I think it was David Packman.
Okay.
Well, they were comparing the polls to what they were, on other elections against Trump, like Hillary. And they were saying that Hillary was higher in the polls than Kamala is, and she lost. So, even though the polls are kind of like in Harris' favor at the minute, they're not high enough.
No, I agree there. But the thing with the Hillary polls, to me, was there was this huge thing in the last minute during that election about all this, Hillary done bad. And literally just after the election, whoever was investigating her came back and said, no big deal. And I just couldn't, as an outsider, see that as anything other than the horse shit that I stepped in when I visited that goddamn farm once. I mean, it was so well timed, and that must have cost Hillary 4 or 5 points right there.
I think it did, and people have to start to learn to read the polls with an understanding of how to get to 270, because that's sort of what Hillary's team was like. Well, the national polls are up, so we're fine. Yeah, that doesn't really matter. You have to have key states. There's
this is the whole thing. I don't really understand these
college.
Yeah, the electoral college. The way it works is, I guess, like, it's trying. It's not even by population, though, is it? Because the most populated states would have the most influence, but Pennsylvania, is it like a most populated state?
No. So here's the way it is, which is it's essentially the number of members you have in Congress. So it's 2 plus whatever the census says would be proportionate based on population. So it's that plus 2. The idea is that by making it that plus 2, if you give that extra 2 to every state, it evens out smaller states. So Rhode Island, I think, has 3 total, but they would only have 1 if you just did by popular vote. They'd only have 1. So you have now tripled their voting power. You don't triple California's voting power by adding 2. You just increase it a small amount. So what you're doing is you're giving smaller states with smaller populations more say and more influence, power, so that they're not completely neglected. Because the thinking is that presidents would never stop by any of those other states and try to address any of their issues whatsoever if they didn't have more power. So the Electoral College triples Rhode Island's power while not really helping larger states like Texas or California that much. There's a whole bunch of problems with that system.
Huge.
Yeah, it's not.
I mean, to me, each person votes for who they want to be president, but then you vote for your state governor or whatever, and blah blah, and there's where you get your regional control. Isn't that a more simplistic solution than all this garbage? Like, to me, this sounds like it was built by people that were sick of losing, that had finally won and wanted to shuffle the deck.
It was built by people who felt that we needed to be more of a republic than a direct democracy, and this was a way to aid in that. When you add into the fact that you in many cases have faithless electors, so even though a certain elector is presumably for one candidate, if they decide, we thought there'd be at least one faithless elector for Al Gore, there ended up not being any, but even one could have switched the election right over to Gore. That one was so close. The system is FUBAR, and it does mean, though, and you can say this to an American, and most of them don't get it, which is you can say you've actually never voted for president, and the number of people the number of Americans who have actually voted for president is extraordinarily small. You have to have been an elector and actually, you cast a vote that went to Congress and was counted there, and that's a very small handful of insiders most of the time.
That's crazy. It's just too convoluted, I get the idea behind it because there's a way of making statistics and stuff and numbers make this all make sense. But in the end, I don't see a problem with the populace electing one person who happens to be in party A as the president, but then locally electing somebody else who's in party B as their regional governor and going from there and stuff,
Well, and you can do that, but the biggest problem that the U.S. really
the votes aren't counted that way is the problem, right? That's
yeah, they are. I mean, it's
so confusing.
Yeah, I know. You have to have a PhD just to vote in the U.S., or at least to vote properly for the person you want to. No, we're really FUBAR when it comes to this. The biggest problem is that. I think ranked choice would solve most of these problems, and would if you had ranked choice, then
ranked choice.
Yes. So what that means is,
judge a person by the smell of their fart.
Oh, have we discussed that yet?
I'm glad you're a Canadian, is all I have to say. At any rate, ranked choice. That's like you say, okay, my first choice is this person, my second choice is this person, my third choice is this person.
Right, I know, yeah.
And then, are you sure Because it kind of seems like after I explained it, then you're like, yes, Nick, I know.
Yeah, no, I had no idea what you meant at first, but as soon as you did first and second choice, I was like, yes, I've heard this before. Yeah. Ranking my choices. Yeah.
Yeah. So that would, I think, solve a lot of our problems, but that would take power away from both parties. And so that's the one thing that they both seem to agree on is neither of them wants to really give up any power. They don't have to. So
yeah.
I think we're going to be stuck with the electoral college system for a very long time. The only other way to get rid of it is by having Listen, if the constitutional conventions included a dance-off, I think many more people would be interested in participating.
Totally.
I think the founding fathers really should have just said, and there'll be strippers. And what else can we do? Yeah. What else can we do to try to get people to vote?
Well, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, Trump, ex-TV star. What was the show he did? What do you call it over there?
The Apprentice.
The Apprentice. Yeah, okay, that's what they call it here too. And so he was on there, and he was basically like judging people on their abilities to do whatever. Why can't we do that with our president or your president? Should I say not our president?
Put him on TV once a week. Hey, you're fired.
Just put them through all the TV shows. Yeah, we could have them dancing with the stars. We could have them on a Love Island, and and everyone gets to vote them off in television land.
I can imagine Trump on Love Island. The first episode, they go to film it, and they find 7 young women have committed suicide in their trailers.
Listen, thank you for saying I can imagine Trump on Love Island. Now I can't get that image out of my friggin' head.
It's week 1 of the presidential bake-off, and this week it's bread week, and they got to make a nice loaf.
Strictly Come Dancing, Mr. President.
I can just see him.
We're sorry, Mr. President. There are no flags for you to molest here, but there is a dance floor if you'd like to.
Oh, that's funny.
I always wondered if Donald Trump was a contestant on The Apprentice. I wonder how well he would do.
He'd be fired. No. I have an idea. And it's going to sweep the world. We're going to take cheap ass, crappy Chinese watches and put my name on them and sell them for $100,000.
And you don't think that if Trump were running The Apprentice, on which Trump was also, that he wouldn't love that idea? He'd be sitting there going, "You're the best candidate for whatever we've ever had." He'll fire the other guy.
Oh no, but would have Alan Sugar, who does The Apprentice over here. He'd be the one hosting it.
Yeah, well, since you guys presumably have standards, then Trump would probably be out the door. The application process. They're like, "Wait a minute, this was written in crayon."
No, we don't have standards. That's why I just said we have Alan Sugar.
Yeah. Alan Sugar's thing didn't exactly end amazing, but he came out rich, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A technological thief.
Oh my God.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Alan Sugar's thing was the what he used to call the mug's eye full. And he used to just take garbage components from China and just make them look cool for sale. You know, he was the first guy in Europe there to ship over those systems where it looks like it has a separate tweeter and a mid-range and a woofer in the speakers, but there's no tweeter or mid-range. There's just a woofer in it. The rest is just graphite, like just cut plastic and stuff.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And the thing would be like a foot deep. And, you know, it would be one of those all-in-one rack systems where you got the 5 units and it's all indented to look like 5 units. But the entire big depth of the box would be completely empty and all the electronics were just stuck to the front. And it was just the most garbage of garbage you could garbage into a product.
Oh, so it's nice to know that the UK does have their own version of Trump. They just weren't stupid enough to elect him.
He's not exactly.
Okay, there's Boris Johnson, but
Techmoan, UK YouTuber that reviewed some of their tech, he said a thing that was great. He was like, so the next time you complain that China floods our shores with garbage, just remember that we were totally capable of doing it to ourselves years ago. It's funny, but it was still Chinese garbage even back then, to be honest, right?
I did have one great piece of Amstrad kit, and that was a dot matrix printer.
Oh, yeah. Retro Recipes just refreshed one back to working order. I haven't watched the video yet, but you know,
might have been mine years ago.
Yeah, I should get a hold of them and ask, hey, is it green? Yeah. I gotta say though, I do wish back in the 8-bit days that we had got the Amstrad 464 because it was a cool PC or computer or whatever in its time. You know, it may have been thrown together as an also ran computer, but it was actually pretty damn good.
Yeah, it was odd because it was like pretending to be like an IBM PC, but wasn't. it was like completely fake on the inside.
Yeah, and Amstrad did this, one of the most amazing PCs ever in the history of the world. As a PC, it was kind of shitty because the world was just moving on to Pentiums, and they brought out a system that had a 386 or 486 option, right? But it also had a Sega Genesis built in, and you could just put the cartridges in the front and play the games on it.
That's nice.
Yeah, man, that's awesome.
I don't remember that. I do remember when the Pentium 1 came out, and they got what was it? They had that error programmed into the CPU where under the right circumstances it couldn't divide by 2 properly.
Yeah.
Like, oh dear Lord. It was just like, well, it'll be fine, everybody. No worries. Just the chances of this one one calculation being done this way is virtually
Well,
impossible. It's like you're going to buy a computer that can't add.
Yeah, but
don't you just have to shift the registers once to the right or something?
Yeah, all they had to do was use microcode to fix it, right? But truth be told, a lot of modern CPUs without microcode correction can't actually do basic math properly. It's a fucking joke. But it's the way that they're designed to do such depth of calculation that the little itty bitty ones are kind of like annoying, right? It's kind of like, when a tank, you send a tank out because there was a fly bugging the commander in the barbecue, right?
I remember we switched from the Z80 days, and we actually got to computing that was they could do fractions, they could do not integers, they could do real floating point numbers. Yeah, it's like wow.
Yeah, totally. My thing with computing jumped from like the 1 megahertz fucking 6502 Commodore series, right to the Atari ST Motorola 68,000 chip at like, 12, 15 megahertz or whatever, and GUI interfaces. Oh man, that was an amazing jump. I haven't felt a jump like that since then. Really?
Quantum computing will be that jump. The quantum computing will be the next.
Oh yeah.
That'll
okay. Can anybody put their hands up if they can understand, or tell me they actually understand what quantum computing actually is?
I did understand it, but the thought was gone.
Yeah,
I have a very rudimentary understanding of it. So essentially, that all a computer knows is 1 and 0, right? That's all it knows.
Yeah.
Okay. That is called a bit. In quantum computing, you have the energy is stored in various quantum levels. So the actual level of the electron and its state, depending on how much energy it's got. Yep. If you store it that way, instead of storing it magnetically or electrically, instead of an on or off, you go to theoretically like an almost infinite number of states. Realistically, they're talking for the first couple of machines, say 32 states in a single, what they now have to call a qubit. But imagine instead of a bit that can only hold 1 and 0, now it can hold 32 separate states in a single bit.
You can do 1 plus 1, you can do 2 plus 2, and you can add the sums of both all at the same time in one step.
And so instead of it getting like twice as good as the previous computer or it's a logarithmic. It's an exponential, not logarithm. It's an exponential growth in computing, very rapid. You just have to figure out how to store the quantum states properly.
Well, and if you put in quantum locality, non-locality, the whole spooky action at a distance thing, where you can have the not intertwined particles. What is it called when the two particles? Entanglement. Quantum entanglement. Quantum entanglement can be brought into quantum processing, and as such, you have built-in instant real-time redundancy, and it can be off-site.
If they can get 2 bits,
that's the idea
at that distance, and that's we still don't even know if that's. I mean, they've entangled bits at a very short distance, but you can still, if you can entangle them at a short distance,
but
move faster than.
In the future, if entanglement works, imagine a scenario where you've got the Star Trek universe and you've got all these ships and space stations everywhere. All of their computers would be kind of intertwined, Borg-like in a way, with real-time communication and stuff. It would be...
in theory, I still haven't figured out And there may be, if there's a physicist I could talk to, I'd love to get an answer to this, which is, and that's one reason why they think that you can't actually maintain a huge distance, because information itself cannot travel faster than the speed of light. That's all information.
Right.
That would in theory include quantumly entangled bits.
Right. But if entanglement does work at a distance in real time, the way that, the science does predict, and it can be done, you can use entanglement to instantly transfer,
presumably, there's a lot of ifs there.
My God. Like, we're talking, maybe my great grandson is enjoying the technology, but if it works to theory, somebody's going to have some instantaneous. And I want to talk about this for a second because it's really funny.
You already are.
No, but I want to go back to Star Trek. Hold on. I want to go back to Star Trek because in The Next Generation, I've just been watching a few of the episodes back recently, and somebody will have a pad and they'll be one of those B actors that don't matter. And Riker will say, okay, take that to Geordi in engineering. He should already have it. It's in the computer. But
that's a really good.
Right. And there's times when they'll say to the computer, hey, computer, blah, blah. And the computer will say accessing. Oh, that person lived between this year and this year. Hold on a minute. You can scan every particle in the human body, rotate, or you can mark the position and spin of all the minute quanta and whatnot and beam that information somewhere else. But it took your fucking punk ass of a computer 4 seconds to figure out when some asshole from history lived and died. I don't believe that. Their method of showing computer interaction is so flawed at times if you actually think about it.
Yeah, but you didn't see when the computer had to do that. It had to do a Google search. But it had to scroll past all the ads before it got to the actual information.
Yeah. I was just noticing a few things like that, or there's times when they say, well, only data could process information that fast. And then other times Picard will say, Commander Data, what do you know of this person? And he'll go, accessing. Oh, they blah, blah, and whatnot. No. If it takes you 3 seconds just to look up the thing, there's no way that you're Mr. Speedy. Literally, dude, you must be running on like a Pentium MMX or something. No.
Well, and you'd think because the ship's a lot bigger of a computer, you'd think that, but I guess no.
I think it's funny.
Why doesn't the SAR system have popper pads?
Yeah.
Or a little clippy. Oh, are you trying to find out data about this person? See if I can help you.
Yeah. I thought it was funny. Or why does the ship's counselor hang out on the bridge all the time? Don't you have people to talk to? Isn't that your job?
Yeah.
No wonder they're all fucking depressed.
I was just thinking there was that season or 2 seasons where every episode was like a horror episode. They started that.
Oh yeah.
That weirded me out. I was like, this is supposed to be a nice fluffy show, and people are getting when they go to sleep, they're being kidnapped and being dismembered and then put back together again.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, wow. Yeah.
Or Troy's being raped by aliens. And
there was that one too.
Yeah.
There was a lot of Gene Roddenberry took a dark turn in the end there. He was.
Well, he was only in control of the show for the first couple years. When the show got a little bit actually better was when he kind of stepped back and just went, okay, There was a lot of friction in the background because Gene wouldn't let things happen that maybe should have earlier. I think the show would have gained a better foothold quicker had Gene just relaxed and let the writers do their thing a bit more.
The other thing a lot of people don't know about Gene Roddenberry, though, was he was an avowed atheist, and he actually was an anti-theist. And the producers on, I think it was CBS or wherever it was first airing, wanted a ship's minister.
Yeah.
And he was like, why would they need a minister? Like, well, who's gonna help them with their religious beliefs? He's like, they don't have any. They're not gonna. What do you think? Yeah. And so he refused. He absolutely refused. And I forget what he put on instead. I forget if it was just making Bones kind of, have that role. But
it's kind of ironic you say that, considering in the original series how many godlike creatures they encountered.
Yeah. That's funny.
Actually, wasn't one of them an actual Greek god? Or did they turn out
in the original episode? Yeah, I think they met like Apollo or someone.
Can't remember.
I've not seen a lot of original Star Trek. I think I've probably seen 20% of the episode.
Well, then you're not doing your homework. You can't watch The Next Generation without knowing the original source.
Yeah, I think Dunk is right. Wait, did I just say that?
Yeah, you did. I've got it in writing.
We don't have a transcript up. That's just
believe me, I got it in writing straight away.
It's got the clip now. I've agreed with Dunk. That's it.
I'm going to show it to my wife.
The clip from the nipple ring?
Oh,
or the nipple? Yeah. It's just...
that's a clipple ring.
Yeah. Yeah, Nick seems to think they go in your.
It goes somewhere else.
We're not discussing mistake. Look, listen, mistakes may have been made.
Yeah, Nick's more of a hammer and sickle kind of guy as it pertains to that stuff.
Not kink shaming. If that's what you want to go with.
It does feel like you're kink shaming, but I don't have the kink, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, if you got a hammer and sickle going, you probably got a few kinks in you.
That was Dick's idea. I had nothing to do with that. I mean, listen, okay. So, I mean, yeah, Dick and I were at the petting zoo, and
no, it's called a lap dance bar. That's not called a petting zoo.
And I had brought the soul.
Depends on the airport.
And yeah.
You ever notice though, when you get to like a bigger city, the airports always have like peeler joints around them at the hotels and stuff. There's always peeler joints near airports. There truly is. Not that I've noticed
an official sample. I'm curious to know how you know this. Is like
musicians know. It's just
official Shills research. You just walk in and say, "I have to." I'm doing an inspection. I'm a YouTuber.
I did work at a hotel years and years ago as an audio visual manager, a very very posh hotel near Heathrow, and I remember it's just like just for some reason I was ending up helping some guy, some rich Arab guy in his room. I think he was having some technical issues or something, so I was helping him out with something. And he just goes, "Well, do you know where I can get some girls?" I think you should go and speak to concierge. He'll be able to sort you out.
Yeah, get some. We don't have vending machines.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'll just send your next couple of maids up. Yeah, all right.
Yeah. There might be a few in the kitchen, but I think they're just serving food.
Well, and they're armed, so you may want to just
Yeah. No, that's that whole rich tourist thing. I mean, otherwise, if it wasn't for people like that, why would Thailand even exist? Right? Isn't Phuket still the sex tourist capital of disgusting?
Yeah, no, I did actually see something about Phuket the other day, which was really, really, really weird. It was just like in a couple of short videos or something, and I didn't know it was like this. I knew the streets were like full of girls and that. Girls and whatever. But they seem to have this sort of like a kind of like a franchise tie-in thing then there'll be like half a dozen bars on a street. It may be just be one street. I don't know. I've never been. But there was like six bars on one street, and they're all called, like Honey Box or Sex Pot or whatever. And each one of them has like 20 or 30 girls inside, and they're all in kind of like I would say a uniform pertaining to that bar. So that it's
really
yeah. So it'd be like going, do I go to Costa Coffee or Starbucks or and you go in there and they're all wearing the same. Yeah,
weird.
And obviously, in their case, it was like sexy outfits or whatever.
Small uniform,
small, very small uniforms.
Yeah,
but they're all wearing the same ones, depending on which bar they're working in.
Wow,
and I thought that was really
well.
The whole thing's really fucking weird anyway. But
doesn't that show that the authorities aren't really too worried about things when you can, give your staff uniforms at a job that's the sex industry?
Well, the thing that I know my brain works in different ways to other normal people, but I was thinking about it because, when you go to a McDonald's and you go to a different McDonald's in a different town, you go there because it's the franchise and the burgers are going to be like a normal, McDonald's burger. So are you saying if you had any one of those girls, are you getting the same experience?
Oh,
and how do they test it for quality control?
Quality control, there's some government official.
The
government official.
That's a hell of a job.
Oh no, the government official is gonna be so tired by the time he's done. He's gonna be like the last thing he's gonna want to see. He comes home to his wife and she's like, "Hi, honey," and he's like, "No, we're not happening."
He hasn't had time to meet a wife. What are you talking about?
Oh God.
Very, very, very strange.
Yeah, but it's weird that it's so corporate and commercialized to the point where it's not like hidden or just like on a street somewhere or something, but it's,
that's it. You expect it to be really, really sorted. I mean, I've been to Amsterdam, where I worked there for a very short job. And yes, they have these streets with just like women in bloody windows. Windows. Oh, come in here. And you can see through the window that there's a curtain and there's a bed. It's just like, you go in, they'll close the curtain and in 5 minutes, the client will come out.
Jesus Christ. I hope you get more than 5 minutes for your money.
Oh, yeah. Well, they got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
They got a lot of people to service through the night.
If 5 minutes
does the sound, but okay.
If 5 minutes is the best you can do, I recommend Pornhub. It's far cheaper in the long run. I really do.
Get a takeaway, get a delivery, and if it's cold or 30 minutes late, you get it for free.
Now you see, Dick. Aren't you glad we waited for Dunk and that he finally joined us?
Yeah.
I put the ear into weird.
That whole weird thing in the election run up.
Yeah. Who are you calling weird?
Where did that start? Who was the first one to use weird, and how did it catch on so quickly to become a back and forth thing? To me, it was just there. And I was like, how did this start? Like, I was only asleep for 8 hours, Yeah.
It's somebody in the campaigns are always looking for something that's going to be catchy and that's going to catch on and hold. Hillary really thought that the I'm with her thing was going to hold. It was like the dumbest thing you could do, especially given her image. I was just like, that's the last thing I'm with her. you're making her the center of the, and it's not just about slogans, and this isn't a slogan, but the weird thing, either somebody there just said, let's start calling everything weird, and we'll see if that catches on, or it was already catching on, and then they made an executive decision that they're going to, because you'd see Obama doing it, and this weird obsession with crowd sizes, you know.
Yeah. That was funny when he did the hand thing. Yeah,
it was perfectly well done.
I actually think it was Jimmy Carr switched on the TV. He was looking again. This is weird.
I saw in one article, it was suggested that it was actually Tim Walz himself who said, yeah, isn't that weird, in some kind of chat with somebody, and everybody just went, yeah, that's gonna work. But I don't know if he was first.
Shock me. I mean, they do try shit like that all the time, and you can see. I'm trying to remember one of the more transparent ones where you could tell, and you see it with marketing like Burger King, or not Burger King. It was Burger King came out with a slogan that they thought was going to, and nobody. It just didn't. It didn't catch on. But unfortunately, it's actually not all that different. It's marketing, and they're trying to sell their candidate, and they want to.
You were talking about.
I was just going to say, it was kind of funny that all the Democrats called the Republicans weird, and now the Republicans are using the same thing back at them. It's like, well, are you sure about that?
But it sounds so defensive when they do it, right? It's got, we got a super chat in, but we also had a super chat from somebody on the canceled other show. And it was something like, to get my 2 cents in or something. I can't remember what it said. I wouldn't doubt whoever sent it is still here in this show. So let me know in the live chat if that was you, and I'll get your shout out done as well.
Just at the Shills.
Yeah. Because I remember I shut everything and closed that one and switched to the other one, and then went, fuck, I have no record of it now. And that's just when my mind went blank and went, I can't remember what it said either, and I was screwed. I totally forgot.
Oh, I could probably dig for it in the Shills account.
Yeah, it could be in studio in the main settings pages and stuff there. We do have, though, Darren Vaughn in with a $5 super chat. Dick, Duncan, Nick, thanks for being here. I needed some laughs tonight. Well, thanks, Darren. Thank you for watching. It's always funny when I get to pick on more than one person. So,
well, I'm technically you're only picking on one person. You're picking on a person, and I don't know what the species is, but Yoda.
I can't see one. I think maybe when you killed the show, we lost the super chat. Maybe.
Oh, it was UTV and Ham, and he had thrown in a super chat. My 2 cents worth to keep the light on. There we go. To keep the lights on. So thanks, UTV and Ham. Thank you very much. Hope you're feeling good too. UTV's, taking it a bit rough right now. And then we've also got, like that. We've also got, NANA with a donation super chat of $6.66. And it says, hey, YouTube deleted my fucking comments. I love Pornhub.
Oh, you better vote Democrat then.
That's no joke. That's no joke.
I had to get the personality in because NANA, you gotta hear it from the source to make it more real. Thanks, NANA. Thank you very much, buddy. We also have Royal Castriata for a $10 super chat. Howdy, y'all. Missed you guys and gals. Hey, Royal. Yeah, I think it's been a little while indeed. So great to see you, and thanks for super chatting and showing up and contributing and being a part of. And holy, I'll shut up now. Thanks, everybody.
I was almost like hearing myself talk at that point. I was just sitting there going, how the fuck? Now I know how everyone else feels.
Hey, Nick, now's the time where you're supposed to tell everyone to like, share, and subscribe.
Oh yeah. My
with,
show
with energy, with love.
My show is called In Time. If you want to go over there, like, subscribe, share all my content, it's great.
Yes.
And Shills, you can come back and like this one too, if you're interested in those kinds of things. You can hit like. In fact, you know what? For when you're on the Shills, just remember you twice the likes if you hit the like button twice. So hit that like button twice and subscribe and come help support the Shills because
you do
I'll
realize.
think of a reason.
I'm assuming you actually realize what you mean by hitting the like button twice. That means you like it and then you unlike it.
Yeah, that's true, you dipshit.
That would
It
explain why so many people have been pissed at me for like. I have to rethink like all my previous social media relationships now. This explains a lot.
So anyway, we're doing a little shout out here. Don't forget to subscribe to In the Nick of Time with Nick Suter in the In Time. It may be in time, sometimes a little bit late, but sometime. It just be sometime with Nick Suter. And we call it that.
Before the end of time, we will be airing.
You should name the channel Lost in the Dimension of Time.
Wrong button. We are going to call it Nick Suter's Before the Beginning of Time.
The black hole. Nothing can escape, not even time.
Friends, beware of the future, because the future is where we'll be spending the rest of our days. All future people in the future.
You sound like that guy from Buck Rogers that was on the council.
Oh, what? Which one was that?
The guy that didn't wear a head. He talked to one of those heads.
Itty bitty bitty.
That was really good.
That was good. That was perfect, actually.
You should have finished it with "What's up, Buck?" Remember when he started talking more?
That thing that he carried was one of the council members too. It was the
Yeah, it wasn't like a big fucking necklace.
Yeah, what was it? Was
BW badge.
Yeah, it was the original Flavor Flav, man.
Yeah. It was like the Beastie Boys.
Yeah. Oh, it was Dr. Theopolis.
Oh, that's right. It was.
Yeah. Okay, I win a point for that. Come on.
Well,
yeah.
I'm trying to remember the actor who played the guy who could take his head off. He ended up becoming really, really famous. Basically, none of those actors got anywhere after Buck Rogers. But one of the guys who did like a bit part did. I'm trying to remember. Yeah.
Oh, what's her name that plays the evil girl, Queen Amidala? She's the girl from Matt Houston, isn't she?
I don't know. I don't remember I don't remember her name.
She was
a long time ago, Dick.
She was
Thank you for making me feel old.
Yeah.
Is that what I come on this show for? Basically, to just be abused and
Hensley? Is her name Hensley?
I literally just said I don't know. And now
Helena something. I think. But she was another, like, she was in TV at the time, and then I don't know, probably.
Yeah.
But
yeah, stop going on about your age, Nick. We come to you to find out what it was like to be an Israelite escaping from the Egyptians.
No, but
I like work like that. We can talk about Moses because he was.
Yeah, what was originally written on those tablets?
Well, and he still owes me 20 shillings.
The recipe for tartar sauce was on the left one.
Yeah, on the bottom of the tab it says terms and conditions may apply.
Yeah, it said right there, don't use relish, you American fucks. It's use capers.
Sorry, I think it also said somewhere, don't commit genocide, but he misplaced that tablet. And so they're just like, as soon as he came down from the mountain, they said, wait a minute, there's a whole bunch of Amalekites over there. We need to teach them a lesson.
Yeah. And the rule number 11, rules are meant to be broken.
Rule number 11, these rules apply to everyone except me.
Rule number commandment 12 was thou shalt drink fireball at bonfire parties, because everybody does, right? It has to be one of them. It has to be one of them.
All right, well, it's 9 p.m. my time. I got to bug out, guys. So
bedtime.
But, yeah, it's bedtime. Again, I'm ancient.
You got a client coming around, have you?
Teddy Brooks.
I really want to know who's been talking, because a lot of people on this panel here seem to know shit they really should not know.
I know things are rough, and you just got to get the money where you can. But a super chat's a super chat, no matter how you take it.
Well, it's getting the money where I can that got me into trouble in the first place.
Titan Uranus is about to show up and put his feet up.
Yeah, don't say the name 3 times, because we're all going to get screwed.
It must gall you to pay the 33% Google tax on your anal sex exploits.
No, I don't mind the tax at all. I mind the fact that somehow, strangely, no. I'm actually okay with that too. It's just that somehow the other people are letting everyone know what happens, and it's like, can't a man's private nipple clamp issue remain private?
Sweet.
All right. I already plugged my show, so I won't plug it again. Thank you guys very much. It was good to see you.
And don't forget to subscribe to Nick Suter's Time Show. It's all about time, and it's about timey, wordy stuff. Go to Nick's In Time. I don't know what the fucking channel is called. In Time Independent News, where it's. I'm sure you'll find
masterfully done. Thank you. I'm going to clip that, and we're going to start every show with that going forward.
Hey, thank you all. Just give me a shout. Just give me a shout. I'll do a trailer.
I will put you right up next to Penn Jillette. It'll be perfect.
Yeah, He'll push me over a fucking cliff first, I think.
Well, we're trying to get Baghdad Bob too, but
get C6 Steve. That'd be a cool one.
Yeah,
I'm sure he's on Fiverr at this point.
I heard he got better.
Thank you.
Thank Nick.
All right. So, and then there were two here.
And I'm sorry, Nick, for whatever.
Oh, yeah, no.
Said.
Yeah. No, nobody said anything. Fuck, it doesn't matter. All right, there we go. So, damn it. Now we don't have anybody to pick on.
You got me.
Okay, that's good. We got Kakariki Firehawk. Is that right? Yeah, I think so.
Is that his Sue name?
It sounds like a company that soups up old Firebirds and Trans Ams, the Kakariki Firehawk, 800 horsepower to the wheels, Pro Track suspension upgrades, modern Tremec suspension. Destroy your enemies with a Kakariki Firehawk today. I think that sounds awesome.
Yeah, they should get you to do the ad for it.
Yeah, I'm available. I'll do it for sure. Super chat in. Nick, blink 3 times when you need help. I think he just did, to be honest. Yeah.
It was his bum. It was he blinked 3 times. Yeah.
His hemorrhoid blinked 3 times.
Nasty.
Yeah. No, Nick has a very early thing in the morning, so 9 o'clock or whatever is actually getting late his time. I know that's but that's how it works.
Why is he a nun? Is he got? is he got to like wake at 5 o'clock in the morning and sing penance or something?
Yeah. He has to go and light the eternal flame and keep it going. He's in a very rare sect of the Illuminati, where they actually illuminate.
Yeah, the accountant department.
But we also have Darren Vaughn in with a super chat as well. PC sounds for Nick as he leaves, please. Oh, I should have. Yeah. You know what? I'm going to cue that sound into the automatic switch when I reduce the hexagons from 4 to 3 and 3 to 2 or whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
And have an Apple boom when someone new joins.
Yeah. Okay. That's what we'll do. Right. Yeah. We'll call it the Vaughn effect because it was Darren's idea.
Nice one.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the Vaughn effect. We'll have a sound effect for in and out.
Now you made me think of something else, but that's another thing.
Yeah, we'll make a 20-minute version of that if you want to have it around for when your maid shows up. That's funny. So, what the hell do we do now? What do you think?
I don't know. We're really sad that we didn't get to do the 42 show because we had some great stories lined up.
Yeah. Well, we can touch on a few still while we're hanging out.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't mean in a gruesome way.
I don't know. We'll do it tomorrow. You got that stupid Ukraine thing going on. We'll just ignore that.
Oh yeah, maybe not. But we ignore a couple of the other ones, so we'll leave it at that. There has been a few people that have asked, because we always get some new people around, right? And they do ask, hey, you guys don't seem to talk about the whole thing with Israel and Hamas and everything. And we don't.
I don't like Hamas.
Yeah.
You mean Hamas? Oh,
yeah. Yeah. But we don't cover that one. With the situation in Ukraine, it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Ukraine was invaded. They've defended themselves for quite a long time now, and they've finally gave up on the whole, we're not going to cross borders, we just want them gone, and started crossing borders to affect their supply runs and whatnot. They're not going after areas. They're not doing incursions that are solely based on just taking and keeping territory. They just get where they need to because there was a disruptive point there and stuff, right? Whereas the thing with Israel and Hamas and everything, in the beginning,
in general, the Middle East.
Yeah, well, that's where I was going to go. But in the beginning, when it first happened, I was totally on support of Israel because they were attacked and just defending themselves. But that conflict has turned into an all-out total back and forth war where everybody's doing everything. And that's where what Dunk just said comes into play, because his hostilities and hatred go back so far that as soon as this started, it was never going to be anything but an all-out conflict where I just rather not.
Yeah.
It's all awful, right? It's two people at war with each other, whereas Ukraine just wants Russia to fuck off and they would stop right away. They don't, or Ukraine may not like Russia, but it's not all out hate to the point where Ukraine wants to wipe Russia from the map. They just want them to fuck off, right? It's so much uglier in the Middle East with this centuries and centuries old conflict. It's so based on faith and belief and all this stuff that's just makes it forever and eternal and everlasting and awful. And I just
it's so overly politicized, or should I say, that's not the right word to use. That was a completely wrong word to use.
The world treats it politically, but all the people involved in the Middle East treat it more of a spiritual, and like to some people, Israel shouldn't even be there, and to other people that's theirs. But even the people that don't want Israel there don't agree with who should own it, and it's all because of historical religious things and certain places and stuff. And I don't think this is ever going to be solved until religion is gone. Sorry if you're religious, but
you get this weird thing as well with like the White House support Israel, yet at the same time they're very, very critical of Netanyahu, and it's like it's like, are you supporting, or are you trying to tell them to stop? It would stop the war, but we'll support you, but just stop doing it. It's like what?
Yeah,
there's such mixed messages from all over the place, and Russia tied in with with Iran and
the whole Legion of Doom, as I've been calling it, and it's true. It's proving to be totally true, right? You've literally got a situation where you have enough people on the bad side to start thinking, you know what? Let's take them on. Like, it's starting to look really bad.
It just comes across as like one of those arguments that is always just like boiling under the surface. Even when it's all quiet and there's peace, there's people getting pissed off. Oh, you said this about that, and you said, "Oh, I don't like you about that one." And then just like one spark happens, and then they always just like start firing off at each other, and it's like everybody's shooting at everybody, and you don't know. I don't know why you're involved, but no, I don't like them because of that or what.
Yeah.
It just.
It's too much.
When people talk about the Middle East, they don't say it's complicated, but
for no reason. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it is complicated, and we're very, 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 very simpleton people.
Yeah,
we can. Sorry, I'm being honest. I'm being honest with you. Me and Dick are pretty simple people. We are not. We are not good with politics. We are not good with that sort of stuff.
No,
we will laugh and joke about it. But Ukraine, different.
I'm too much of an optimist, right? I can't understand this stuff, right?
No. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, about being an optimist.
Yeah. I can't understand how everybody can't just okay.
Yeah, why? Just why are you doing it? What's the end goal?
Sorry, but can't you see that if everybody stopped, how the region would expand financially and everything, and the better of your children and stuff so quickly? It's not funny in the modern economy, especially with the geological location they have and so on and whatnot. I mean, this beating each other to death thing continuously does nothing for the prosperity of your progeny, your children and their children and stuff. And yet that's what they always claim to be,
Well, it's very First World War, where they'll be fighting in the trenches, and here's a map of the ground we've covered over the last day. Oh yeah, what scale is this? Oh, it's 1-to-1. We got a foot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I know there's been like people's like doing they're doing border incursions. It's like I think people in Israel, it's like trying to sneak land off of Palestine and all that kind of stuff. There is, but in general, the borders stay the same.
Yeah,
nothing changes.
Yeah.
No one advances in any single way. It's just they just like fire off bombs at each other and blow each other up.
Yeah, and
it makes no sense.
And if you stick to the religion side, because a lot of this comes to Temple Mount and stuff, and this whole thing, right? You've got all over Europe and so on, places that were, Christian temples that are now mosques and stuff that have all this history back and forth. And those places aren't being fought over because it's very much centered around the whole Jerusalem thing. And then Israel was kind of given that location at that one redraw of the map and stuff. That intervention on behalf of the world to try to stabilize the region kind of put it on the path that it's still on now, where they didn't naturally solve it themselves. It's a very, very tough topic. You see what I mean? Like Dunk and I are talking about it, and we're jumping from spot to spot and thing to thing. And you have
probably doing a terrible job of explaining why we're not covering it.
No, we're doing an amazing job. This is what I was going to get at. This is such a complicated fucking issue that we don't want to just end up giving you reports on how people are being awful to each other and killing each other, because we could literally just turn this channel into the Middle East is still fighting and keep it that way, right? We like doing the news we do, but we support Ukraine.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, actually, if you think about it, the 42 show, I think a lot of people will notice with that. We do not cover many stories that concern death or any kind of like dark thing. I mean, we
don't do mass shootings and all that stuff.
No. Sometimes a story might be come across as interesting enough because it's bizarre or odd, and someone has died in a very, very bizarre way. But we definitely shy away from just like general news of today 30 people were shot in a supermarket, blah blah blah. Yeah, we could do that every fucking day if you wanted, but. Yeah, you can get that. You can get that from the general news. You don't need us to tell you that.
No, we've always been. Our first thing is entertainment, but what do you bring to the table for entertainment? Well, daily news reports is a very easy way to get the stuff we need to generate the conversation that turns into the show. So it was a natural thing to fall into. And there's so many stories that we can bring that are either funny or interesting, enlightening, or just curious, that it doesn't have to be that stuff. You're going to hear it anyway, right?
Yeah. I mean, you can go to your main media TV channel and watch the news, and you can hear all about that. But they are not going to cover a guy who's got a Barbie doll stuck up his bum.
Yeah,
and we specialize in.
Yeah, we make him a hero, right?
he gets his fame for 15 minutes through us.
Yeah. Where no Barbie has gone before.
Oh, not too sure about that statement. I think a few have ventured into that dark territory.
Yeah. I think that's where the idea for Tomb Raider actually comes from. Is Barbie in a dark brown cave?
It's when you pull them out and they lost their head. That's when you got to start worrying. Put them in feet first. Anyway, that's consumer advice.
I got a good shout out to do, and your timing is perfect because it's one of those times where I have to say a big, big thank you. But April Colbert sent in a $25 direct donation with the message cheers. And I'll say cheers big time. Thank you. Good timing. It's going to be a terrible end of the month. Holy fuck. But that's another story entirely, It's one of those things. You don't shake family just because you get divorced.
You try.
Oh, man. Yeah. If anybody's ever tried to give it the old lost dog in a park and get home, it was me. But
You're talking about you never had a dog.
You're catching on quick.
Or is that what you call it now?
Oh no, I couldn't say that because honestly, that's not true. But behavior-wise, but yeah, thank you there. Thank you. Wasn't there a couple other things? Oh, you know how we've been talking about ownership and rights and all that kind of stuff a lot on the channel recently, especially myself. And I've been very hard on the digital companies like the Steam game store and places like that because they say you're buying the game, but you're not. You know, you're buying a license to it and they can kill it at any time and you get nothing, right?
Yeah.
Steam is now admitting this.
Ooh.
Yeah, when you go to your shopping cart at checkout time, if you're buying a Steam game, it now says you have a purchase of a digital product grants a license for the product on Steam. And they have changed the terms. And this is because of that thing that started in California where the companies have to admit that you're not buying it, meaning you own it for life. They have to say, no, you're buying a license. And what they're not having to admit is that license can be revoked at any time.
I love the fact they didn't fix the issue by saying, okay, well, if we just remove the license, you can have it. You can just have it. No, they haven't changed anything.
I know.
They've just changed the wording.
This is what I was going to bring this up on the show tonight and then launch into a rant about how it sounds great on paper, but it was the wrong fix.
Yeah.
What they should have fixed is the fact that if I'm buying it, they have to make it last and not just cut me off because the servers and blah, blah, and all this shit, you know?
Yeah, it's funny especially when you talk about people like the 8-bit guy and stuff like that, or just like software archivists.
Yeah,
and they'll find some really bizarre software that no one's seen for years, and they can put it onto their 8-bit system that they've got and show it off. This sort of thing wouldn't happen.
No,
because that software, it'll be gone. It'll be nowhere. You can't run it.
Exactly.
Especially, I mean, that's the thing that happened when you played Space Invaders back in the day. I know I'm picking on a very, very old one, but it didn't have to.
Funny enough, you picked a good one.
Yeah, but it didn't have to connect to a server. It didn't.
That's right.
It didn't have to rely on.
It didn't need anything except for the fact that it existed physically.
Yeah.
Right.
And the fact that a lot of the games have become so intertwined with being on a server, being on teams, or playing in groups and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
It's just got so integral to that,
and
that they can't get out of it. They can't just like make a game that you just like play.
Yeah, but this has all been done on purpose because the idea that a game can be retired indefinite means that you can't have people that are happy to play old games on older hardware because they couldn't afford a new one. Those games are gone. And as such, you got to keep up. And that's the whole idea behind the Adobe subscription service. You know, you can't just keep your old version for 10 years anymore and whatnot, right? Because there's no revenue in 10 years, right? It's not enough.
It would be like going to watch a American Civil War reenactment society who have got no idea what anything looked like. They got no idea they got none of the uniforms. They're just like turning up in chefs' outfits. And just having or like the women's group doing the battle of the Battle of Pearl Harbor. Handbags. It would be like because no one knows. You know, you need to have some kind of.
Did Sally bring the crumpets? Oh, I love her crumpets. You know. That's crazy. It's you know. Oh man. So many rants, so little time.
Will you have like in the future, like real diehard fans recreating servers that these games could still be played on, even if you could?
Yeah, well, but here's the thing. A lot of these games are now published on that Unreal Engine. Even some of the biggest games like Halo has just announced that they're switching to the Unreal Engine instead of their own engine, right? As such, the background servers, if all you have to do is connect people so they can be in the world and not worry about all the fancy score things that used to happen because you were paying. I'm sure there's a way for them to release that server as an app that other people could just simply run. You know, but they're so scared of releasing that, you know, executable or whatever into the wild because somebody could grab it and hack it and so on. Well, I'm sorry. Look at the hacks and cracks going on in the world. Every game service, Nintendo included, has been hacked in the last 5 years and had source code released and blah, blah, and whatnot. I mean, does it change anything? No, people still buy Nintendos. They still buy the games. Nintendo exists. They make a lot of money, you know. They're all scared because if they do anything that might cost them even 1% of revenue, the stock markets will flip out. If it wasn't for the stock markets, the companies wouldn't care because they know they would exist and be fine.
Simple solution. We hack the stock market to hide the fact that their stocks are failing and everybody's happy. Yay!
Oh, no. Simple solution is you plant bombs under most BMWs and boom, there goes the stock market, right?
Oh, dear. I don't think you should say things like that online.
Oh, I can. It's no problem.
It's BMWs these days. It's probably Teslas, isn't it?
There's probably some Teslas in there, but Teslas aren't expensive enough to be that show-offy. You know, they were a bit show-offy for a time, but they're not now unless you have a Plaid or something. But from the outside, it's hard to tell a Tesla Model Plaid from a regular Model S. And as such, it's not a show-offy car anymore, right?
Yeah, maybe AMGs, maybe.
Oh, yeah, and M-series cars. All those rich guys love M cars, right? They all leave them in plush mode, so they don't need M cars, but they're the more expensive ones, so they buy M cars.
Yeah, just extend Dick's sentiment here. We'll just plant bombs under any rich person's car. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. If somebody has a doorman, you've got a target, right?
I've got a door and I am a man.
But you open your own door, so that's not counting. That's
true. But what do I open it with?
Oh, I don't think that thing would reach, dude.
like Jurassic Park. They've learned to open doors now.
Jurassic Park, the new set of the new trilogy movies, the Chris Pratt ones. Oh God, they suck. They even went full Picard and did the season 3 bring the old actors back for the third movie to try to save it.
Yeah,
that sucked balls.
Yeah, every franchise is doing that now.
Yeah. I might be biased though, because I'm not a Chris Pratt fan. Like I've watched most of the superhero movies with my son, but we have not watched Guardians of the Galaxy because I just can't do it.
Why?
I can't stand that guy. It's like watching a Will Ferrell movie. You know,
he's all right. I don't know what you got against him. He's not that bad.
I don't like him.
He's quite like him. Oh, I see. You see him as a threat
What?
to your sexuality.
That's odd. That's odd because him and I obviously compete for the same women. You know.
Hey, you would if you could.
No, it's more like he would if he could, but he doesn't live here.
If he moves to your place, oh my God, there's going to be trouble.
Yeah. Excuse me, sir. Would you care to take that Walkman off? I have words with you. No, I'm just not a.
I'll take your bins out.
Yeah, I'm just not a big fan of him as an actor. You know.
Yeah, he's all right. I got nothing against.
Yeah. But he didn't have a lot to work with in the new Jurassic Park movies. Like when he did that,
of course he didn't.
And he had the little clicker in his hand, and he was trying to, get the raptors. It was so bad. It was so bad. It was terrible. It was like watching.
I mean, to be fair, when you say he's got not much to work with, well, he didn't. He had a couple of guys with golf balls, like tennis balls on the end of a pole.
Yeah,
and they go.
You're actually not wrong, right? He's in a room that's just green, yeah. But even still, I just don't find him overly convincing,
He's all right.
I didn't mind Bryce Dallas Howard as the chick in the movies, but I did agree with most people when the first movie came out and she's running through the jungle in high heels and everybody's like, really?
Yeah, that's a hell of a look, though. Can you imagine them doing Terminator? Hang on, not Terminator. Fucking the Predator. With Arnold.
With the Predator wearing heels? Oh, Arnold. No. Okay, yeah.
Arnold wearing heels. Yeah. I think you could pull it off.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't hit the mute button in time there. We got a shout out here from LA for $6.66. That's why I only buy physical copies or download without having to be online games and movies. Oh, yeah. Me too, NA, totally. I torrent everything I watch and I go to like GOG and stuff for games. Totally.
Now you say that because I was always just like staggered my mind when the kids got a new game for the Xbox or the PlayStation.
Yeah.
The first thing you do is put the disc in and then wait 4 hours.
I know. Do you remember when you used to put the game in the machine, turn it on, and it was actually ready to play?
Yeah.
Instead of just
sign in.
Yeah. Nowadays it hits the family internet so hard for downloads that the rest of the children are whining because Netflix won't stream,
Yeah. And you have to have like a 5 terabyte drive built into the machine to download the game. I've played that game, but I've got to now delete that game to make room for the next one I want to play.
Or you've got to delete the other game because you just bought extras for the game. All they are is like, graphical things and stuff, but it costs $60 and damn it, you want them on the hard drive. Yeah, it's so,
But if you delete them, they're gone. You have to put them again.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works, but you can tell I haven't played a game in a long time.
Oh, I hate all this new stuff. As soon as it all got tied to online services and stuff, I was just kind of like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so go back to the game like Unreal Tournament or Quake 3 Arena from like 1998, 99. Those games needed a server so that we could all connect to fight and kill each other. But the server didn't have to be some holy grail computer somewhere. I mean, any old computer it wasn't that big a deal. And people were able to figure it out. And to this day, there's still servers running where you can play Unreal Tournament and stuff, right? I like that kind of online play where it's not that big a deal. But this modern stuff where you could buy a game that is like an adventure game that has missions, and then you can go online and do the big open world thing. But none of the game works if you're not online. Well, why can't I play the missions?
Oh, I'm laughing. It's like, listen to us two old granddads. Yeah. Like this modern gaming is not like it was in the olden days.
Yeah. But it's true because I know
every
part of the game that doesn't need online connection, I should still be able to play. But modern game systems check to be online every so often. So even if you download like 5 games onto your console and take it out to your cottage where there's no internet connection at all, the odds of any of it working when you turn it on are slim to none. That's not right. It's not. You take an old PlayStation or a Nintendo 64, blah, blah, or whatever, the damn thing works fine. It's an obvious cash grab. It's just meant to make us buy into the convenience of the fact that it's not worth it and you just move on.
Well, it also comes into the whole concept of everybody nowadays is, we're all constantly connected.
Yeah.
And there's no way we can live a life now without having that fucking constant, connection to the internet. Because it's a disgrace to my human rights if I lose internet connection. And
the funny thing is most people would be fine if they only had connection for 4 hours in a day and just logged in every now and then and caught up and went, oh, that's cool. Oh, haha, and blah, blah, and whatnot. But oh man, the anxiety that would commence, right?
Yeah, no, that is actually true. I mean, let's face it, that's how we used to do it back in the day before we had broadband. It would be, dial up, and you just do a little bit, switch it off, go and do your thing.
Yeah. Remember when we had even before answering machines, somebody would call you, you're not home. They would try you again later. Can you imagine not being able to get a hold of somebody to tell them that you just had the best pierogies you've ever had in your life? It's irrelevant.
I can't imagine what it's like for kids these days as well, because you remember back in the day when you were a kid, it's a long time ago,
decades
before the invention of the wheel. It'd be like you go around your mate's house and you go, do you want to come out and play? Yeah, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Now kids probably got on a fucking Facebook group.
Yeah,
and it's like,
I can't imagine.
I
know.
Especially when you see like young kids and the tiny little kids. There was like some kids in our local supermarket and in our Lidl, and they were at like the self-service tills, and I'm thinking, hey, wait a minute, but this is card only payment.
Yeah.
How are they going to do that?
Yeah.
Oh no, because they've got iPhones and they've got cards, they've got bank accounts and all it's stuff. I never had a bank. I never had a bank account till I was like going to university because I needed to have one.
I didn't open a bank account until I had my first job, because why the fuck did I need one? My allowance was just on the table once a week. It was called money.
Yeah, but now they have to have a bank account because they've also got an iPhone, and that iPhone has to connect to
Xbox and Apple and
and all their subscription services, and they get. It's like, they must be in debt.
Well, I'll tell you this:
you used to get pocket money, right? When you were a kid, to go buy some sweets. In your case, booze and fags and prostitutes.
You mean cigarettes?
But you get pocket money to go and do stuff. Now kids, I that's what I'm saying. I can't imagine what it's like.
I know.
They must have like PayPal account. Mum and dad are like giving them money all the time.
I'll tell you this. It's a benefit to me that my son's on the autism spectrum, because he doesn't live in the world that the other kids live in. He lives in a world that's a little more like the one I grew up in. He doesn't need constant contact and all this. And, he's definitely more of just bounce up the road and knock on somebody's door to see if they want to come out and whatnot. And it really helps me understand the world at times, let me tell you. I can't imagine having like a 14-year-old or a 15-year-old that has like monthly bills and expenses, like what the fuck is that?
See, that's the thing as well. You talk about Felix is he doesn't have those anxieties.
Not even close.
Modern kids must have to deal with. I mean, do they? Somebody tell me in the chat. I don't.
My son,
my kids are all grown up now, and they're all on iPhones and subscription services anyway. But what is it like for a 9 or 10-year-old these days?
Well, I remember being younger, and you always had that "what am I missing" thing, and you always wanted to know what your friends are up to and stuff. So I can only imagine what that's like in modern social media, right? Because you actually know. But with my son, he doesn't give a fucking rat's ass. He'd rather be doing his own thing. And it's totally different,
In our day, when you go, I wonder what people are up to, you go out, get on your bike, you cycle around, you go to the park, see if anybody's there, you go to
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, you were better off to jump on your bike and check the spots than you were to call places because nobody was home. Because I mean, in when I was like 5, 6, 7 years old or whatever, the only home video game systems we had were Pong.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, how many people had them?
Yeah,
we had like three of them,
then,
but.
Yeah, even then you had to have a friend because it was really hard to play it by yourself.
Yeah, well, they didn't have computer things, right? Those things were not built for single play, right?
I actually have to confess, I do remember trying to play Pong by myself because I didn't have anybody to play with.
Yeah, but the one Pong we had, it was built by Sears, I think. I was in a lucky position because of the job my father had. I got a lot of electronics and shit just given to us, but the one Pong we had did have a single player mode, and it was called Squash. And it was just where you bounced it against a wall and the ball always came back, right?
Yes,
and it was it was basically just to practice your skills, right?
Yeah, I do remember that one.
Yeah. But
it was like Breakout before they put other bricks in.
Exactly. Yeah, Breakout is squash with obstacles, right? That's what it is. Wow, I never thought of that. That's a good one. But yeah, I mean, even a lot of the early Atari games had no provision for playing on your own unless it was like Space Invaders or something. Games that were meant to be two-player were usually, Oh, shit. 1 second, dude. Sorry. Hold on.
On the blower. It's the bat signal. It's being called out right now. PJC that says, I programmed a Breakout clone on the ZX81 and demonstrated it at school in front of the school governors. Oh, well done, PJ. That's brilliant. I love it. Yeah, I mean, PJ is funny because he must have been like me at school. It's like when I was at school, it's like I knew more about computers than the guy who was running the computer room at the school, and they didn't know. We had a Commodore PET, a BBC Micro, ZX81, and it's like we knew how to run it. But I learned how to program the PET and all that kind of stuff. It's like the teacher didn't know what was going on. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah, we had a computer lab, and the guy was really, really knowledgeable and taught us all kinds of things. Like, oh my gosh, it was, let's see here. It was, for God's sakes, it was grade 5. So I was 11 years old, and we had a couple of TRS-80 Model 3s. We had a couple of pets. We had an Apple II in the classroom, but it was an older or more original Apple II. And most of us found the other computers to actually be better.
Mm.
We had a couple others as well. I can't remember, but it was really cool. It was a great place to be. I got to bugger off out of class and go there at times. I love that.
Yeah, I remember being in the computer room at school and doing stuff in it, but I don't remember anybody having any classes in there. It was just like, you got 30 kids in there, 3 computers, and you go, right, children, these are computers. Now look at them and now fuck off.
Oh, we had like 12 of us, and we were in there programming our own games and stuff and learning BASIC. And oh, yeah, it was great fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. We ended up with one of those Educator 64 machines a couple of years later, which was a Commodore PET, but with a Commodore 64 inside of it. And we were all excited to get it. And then it showed up with a green screen. And we were like, motherfucker, I thought it would be a color, man. Oh, we were pissed. But it was still cool. About 3 months later, I got my own Commodore 64, but
Oh God, halcyon days they were.
Yeah.
I do miss it.
Kakaraki Firehawk in the chat. Oh, the Educator 64. Yeah. I wish I would have been smart enough back then to keep it when it was out of date and still have it, because you know how rare that machine is? Holy man.
Mm.
That thing would be worth like a Porsche 944 right now. No problem. You could just trade. And I would. Give me 1 second here, buddy. I'll be right back. Hold on.
Yeah, I do kind of miss those days because you look back at them now, and you see what happened with these, like the computer boom, and we were just like farting around with computers, and then a lot of people became fucking billionaires off the back of it. It's like I could have been Microsoft. It's like, I remember writing a word processor on my Sinclair Spectrum.
Yeah,
it didn't fucking exist. It looked terrible because obviously there's no text formatting or anything. But
yeah,
it worked. And I created a graphical piece of software which would have been the precursor to Photoshop.
Oh, cool.
But obviously, all done by using the cursor keys. Can you imagine trying to draw something with the cursor key? but it all works. You could do all kinds of stuff with it. But yeah. Strange days. What's the matter?
Yeah, one of the wheels on my chair is actually in the middle of dying.
Oh no!
Yeah.
And we've been talking. I'll tell you what, guys, in the chat, we've been talking about the demise of Dick's chair for a long time.
It just got worse.
The seats are worn out, and no, hang on, shut up. We've been talking about this in the background because can you get a cushion? I can replace the foam, get it recovered.
Yeah.
Now the wheels falling off, and it's like what is it? Next time Dick's going to be on, it will be like Dick's chair. Will it start?
Yeah, no, I'll be sitting on milk crates, man.
It'll be a barn find.
See this thing here. On an office chair, there's 2 wheels with a center thing. That's how they work. This is one of the wheels. I can't get it to go on anymore. I think there's something broken. So now one of my wheels only has one, and I'm slightly leaning. It's not good.
So we'll see you on PubChat. We'll be doing a fundraiser to buy Take some milk crates.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll just get some memory foam and get myself a kitchen chair or something. Fuck.
Or a spike.
Yeah. Oh God. It's always something, you know.
It is actually funny because, you know, with all the technological updates that you and I have done with the Shills over the years, I say over the years, over the last couple of years or so. Your chair has been an issue since the start, and it's been the one thing we've never addressed.
Well, I cheaped out when I bought this one, and I knew it wouldn't last that long. I knew this was coming, but it's all coming at once because in the last 6 months, the foam has just worn out. Like I'm just sitting on flat wood. And the seams around the armrest are just all white and about to explode. And now the wheel is crapped out. I mean, it's just, I can't win this one.
I've got some good news for you because you got a super chat to address.
I do I? Okay. Super chat. White Fishy won $10 for Dick's chair. And to celebrate my 24-year-old daughter getting on FT as a fighter. Oh, wow. Hey, great news indeed. Celebrate. Oh, yeah. I wish I had that tune queued up. Celebrate good times. Come on. You know?
What tune is that then?
I think it was Ghostbusters by that guy. Yeah. Ray Parker Jr. Yeah, he got sued for that song. Yeah, he took it hard on that one. He didn't make anywhere near the money you would have thought.
Yeah.
Good for him. Yeah, exactly. That's what you get for theft, you bastard. Yeah, Huey Lewis took him down on that one.
What was it? What was the Huey Lewis song? Was it got a new
new drug? I want a new drug.
I didn't got a new job.
Yeah. And drug job, depending on who you are. I mean, yeah.
It's not quite as hard hitting as I got a new drug.
Yeah.
I got a new job.
Yeah.
It's in accountancy.
Yeah.
I'm now a chartered accountant.
Yeah. We're sailing on the wide accountancy. I love that tune. Well, hell. I thought my son was coming back in 2 days, and he's coming back in the morning.
Is that what your little phone?
Yeah. Yeah. Because, in my life, everybody sticks to the schedule and makes sure that, I find out ahead of time what's truly going on.
He just likes being home with dad. Come on, let's face it.
Yeah, no, this is them reshuffling their schedules and just,
okay. Yeah. Oh, that's going to be great for an autistic kid.
Oh,
He's got it planned in his head. It was going to happen the next couple of days. Oh, no, we're just changing everything.
Oh, yeah, and you know how that works. So,
he's going to be home and you'll be having to pick up the pieces.
Yep. Again, but used to it. So, I know how to do it. So it's not that big a deal, but consistency would be nice.
Should be on the phone there going, yeah, you think you got fucking problems? Wheels just falling off my chair. And look at this seat. Look at the seats coming off. The seams are coming off the arms. You think you got fucking problems? I'm trying to do a show here. I can't even sit on this fucking chair while I'm trying to do this show.
I actually got to get Felix a new chair coming up too. So, he's 17, right? But he's on the spectrum, so he's kind of like 8. And so he leans on the chair and everything. But being 17, he's 6'1", and he's got weight. So his chair is destroyed from him using it as like, you know, a lounge instead of a chair, right? You know,
It sounds like you need like an industrial lazy boy.
yeah. I need chairs that are made out of like solid fucking stainless steel, and I'll just deal with the cushions. We got a direct tip in for none other than $6.66.
And it's from Heather W. Yay!
Dick's Chair Fund. Hey, thanks, Heather. Woo-hoo. Thank you very much. I'm gonna probably need a little assistance with this one. Oh God.
Or your chair.
Well, between these two chairs, see, Felix's chair, the chair itself is in great shape, but all the underneath stuff, like the pedestal and stuff, is in crappy shape because it's all like plasticky and garbage. The pedestal under my chair is all metal and really good. It's just the chair itself that sucks. So I'm going to try to...
apart from the wheel now.
Yeah. But if I take the wheels from his and put them on mine, and then take the bottom of my chair and put it on his, he should last a few more years, and then I'll buy a new chair, right? Because his chair, the top, holy, it's awesome still. But because he leans on it and everything, it's all bent to shit and destroyed, right? You know? So I think I'll do that. I don't know. We'll see how it plays out.
Mm. Hey, I tell you what, guys. Guys in the chat, that is, because we've had a little bit of a drop in views recently. Now, what we really need to do is help us out here. You know, I know we got like some financial stuff. We got to stop it, Dick. I know we've got some financial stuff to sort out here with Dick with his fucking chairs because he's skin. So what you need to do, we need you to do, get us out there, get us more subs, and so we have a few more people to call on to help us out financially. So get us more subs, get us more subs. Yeah, do you think we should do a subscriber drive?
Oh yeah, because
would that work?
The dignity in a subscriber drive is something that, as a lifelong Canadian, I'm sure I can handle.
Now, I've seen other people do this on channels, and they're doing like it's a subscriber drive. Well, if they're not already watching the channel,
Granny.
If they're not already watching the channel, they're probably already subscribed.
I didn't understand that. Like, I've seen that too. And what do you do the whole show? Okay, so everybody go on your social media platforms, clip the last minute of the show and show everybody and beg them to come over. And I just cannot do that. There's no fucking way in hell.
I just want to do a test with the people in the chat. I want to see hands up from anybody who's in the chat, and they might not be in the chat. They might be watching, and then they haven't got onto the chat yet. But I just want to see any hands up from people who are watching who are not subscribed. Because I always found that strange that
here let me turn on subscriber only mode in the chat to make it definitive. Oh no, wait, no.
That would mean no. Hang on a minute, that wouldn't work.
Yeah,
just realised what you meant there.
Yeah,
but it's funny when you see like channels who do videos, not live stuff like we're doing, and they're doing videos, and they say, we got so many videos, we got so many people watching. You're obviously not all subscribed, so please subscribe to the channel. Yep. This is kind of different because we do it live. You're less likely to just pick people up from the outside.
Yeah,
you've got to have known this show was coming, or you got to know this show, or you can't accidentally come across this show. So. Rob M's got his hand up. Is the recovery of the stolen toilets? Says they're not subscribed.
Well, sub up, dude.
Yeah, Granny Fusion lost my membership. Well, you can renew that. Chris Lundy's got his hand up. Well, we know you're subscribed, you bastard. Shut up.
I know YouTube is very fickle with things.
Yeah, subscribe, not membership, not subscribe. I mean, yeah. Whitefishy says subscribed or memberships. Yes, just subscribed. Just subscribe to the channel.
This is a weird conversation.
Yeah, it's gone weird. I've asked the question and nobody understood it. So
no, it's not weird that way. For me, it's weird because this is that whole part of things that I'm not comfortable with. That, asking people to like, share, and subscribe and all that YouTube crap that you're supposed to say. I don't know if you guys ever noticed, but I almost never do that because it just doesn't sit well with me. You all do what you want to do. It'll be fine.
Whitefishy says you can't be in the chat unless you're subscribed. That's not true. We
don't have that turned on.
Yeah.
We've turned that on a few times, and what happens is you get somebody who subscribes so they can come in and be a jerk, and then they unsubscribe after when they leave, and YouTube just goes, "Oh, it didn't work out well for you." Then it's not a good look, right?
It's useful when you were doing Ukraine shows, and then you'd have like trolls, or bots suddenly appear. Do you remember the days we usually get the porn link?
Oh God, those ones, man. Or that whole, I've got a free offer for you. Contact me on Instagram. All those jerk offs, man. Oh. Fucking bot troll fucks. But it's a thing with YouTube. When you're pushing 10,000 subs, they stop helping you and you have to do it yourself. And holy, are they not being nice to us? So we could use the extra favor. It's not wrong.
It seems, because we are close to 10, it's almost like they're doing everything they can that we don't get to the 10.
Yeah.
Where they might help us out a bit more, but it's just like, it's like a tall kid holding a shorter kid back at arm's length with his head on his head. But he's trying to kick him in the balls, and he's got his head on his head.
But for their side, it makes sense because we get demonetized for being a bit adult and a bit sweary and stuff. And we don't get demonetized all the time, but probably about 30%. But from YouTube's side, that means 30% of the videos that they could help us promote won't make them as much revenue as other videos. And as such, we get lost in the shuffle pretty fucking quick. Right? That's what it comes down to, is the almighty dollar. If we'd stop like swearing and stuff and whatnot, I'm sure we would do a little bit better. But you're supposed to put the U in YouTube, and this is who we are. So
but just stop swearing.
Yeah, okay. Fuck, you're right.
Fuck.
Oh, I have one of those buttons too, but I forgot to push it.
Yeah, you fucking fuck. Is that wrong?
Yeah. You fuck.
You are such a silly cunt.
It doesn't fucking work the way I want it to.
Hang on a minute. Are we doing the show in Morse code now?
You see, it's just easier to swear, people. It's just, I know. So we do rely on a little help with sharing the word of the channel now and then due to this stuff. It's not a far cry.
A little help from our friends.
Yeah.
We get by with a little help from our friends.
Yeah. I'd say we get high from a little help from my friends, but that's usually my neighbors asking me because they ran out. So that's.
See, the thing is, I've seen other people's YouTube channels that I don't think we do a bad show. I think it's a pretty decent show, and
I would say, especially,
I'd just see it a little bit more.
There's a lot of shows that upload videos that are similar to ours, but they're edited. Ours is live and damn near as slick as theirs for the most part. And I dare say that that's more of what YouTube watchers really want. Do you guys want something that's edited to be like reality TV? Do you want automotive people that are always like, oh, we have a deadline, we're not sure if we're gonna make it? Of course you are. You're just putting fake drama in it, you asshole, and all that stuff. No, nobody wants that. You want people that are honestly themselves, and that's why we're all on the YouTube, right? We're the slightly older folk. We're not the kids.
I'll ask the chat again, because you were talking about how people put out slick shows and we do it live, and by being live, I mean, especially when you're talking about like the 42 show or something like that. Sometimes it doesn't always run perfectly. It's not quite slicky. We bumble through some of the headlines. We get names wrong. I kind of like that.
Yeah,
I prefer it that way than
it's more
just
honest.
like, oh, let's reshoot that bit, cut it.
Exactly.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Or maybe other people could just do it live and just do it better than us. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's a bad thing.
No, it's honest and it's proper. And I mean, we could do it like these nighttime talk shows do, where there's a bit more editing and a bit of laugh tracking and stuff, and it makes it look like everything we do is gold and blah, blah. But that's bullshit, man. It just is what it is, Yeah, Darren Vaughn, super chat. And I like this one very much. Darren says, you guys are like hanging out with old buds. That's exactly the fucking idea. Thank you very much. Right?
Hey, who you calling old? We're 900 years old. You reach. Look as good you are.
Yeah. I actually had one of those moments recently where somebody said, well, how old are you? And I said 54. And chick said, Jesus, I thought you were like mid 40s, like nice. Yeah. And I thought, hey, all right, I'll take that because I'm seeing some grays and stuff.
Yeah,
it's coming.
Your wallet.
Yeah.
What does she want?
Yeah. I think I'm a little smarter than the average bear, so I'll be fine.
Yeah. When you say bear, you don't mean a big cuddly gay guy.
Yeah. No, it was
that's Nick's job.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where one of the first things I do is explain my life is different due to the relationship with my son and I, and him being on the spectrum and whatnot. And we homeschool and we have a lot of responsibilities. And all of a sudden, that drunken look in their eye that makes them think, wow, I got to have you, fades away. And then you can go home and have a quiet evening.
I like it. Canty Luden in the chat says, wait, does that make Dunk Boo Boo? Yeah, I'll take that. Or Muttley.
Yeah. Smarter than the average bear.
Yeah. Fuck, I'll take Scooby Doo at this point.
Yeah. Come along, Baba Louie. Or what about El Kabong? I loved that one. What's it? El Kabong. He was Quick Draw McGraw, but in a black outfit. And all he ever did was break a guitar over people's heads.
Hello, John Belushi.
You don't know that one? I will El Kabong you, or some shit like that. Fuck.
I think you've had that in reefer dreams. I don't know.
No, I know I'm right. It did happen. Yeah. Never mind. Yeah. Yeah, Granny, I'm freaking 64. Freaking, you should have done with a PH, because then we could have told the story of Captain Crunch and hacking the phone lines. But that might be too geeky for everybody. Anybody remember what freaking is in the chat? Anybody?
I don't.
I remember I got myself a blue box. The idea of what we're talking about is, yeah, PJ knows, hacking the phone lines. We used to do this stuff called freaking, and you could get yourself on the international phone line system for free. So you could dial into other BBS boards, which is the precursor to the internet. So you could get like free games and hacked files and stuff. It was awesome.
You bloody pirate.
That's what I say. When people say, like when I always say I'm a pirate, you know, I run my own Plex server like Netflix and stuff. I've been a pirate a long time. You know? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the blue box, old Achilles says. Yeah, the blue box, man. Exactly. You know, spawned by Captain Crunch himself. The dude figured out that this whistle that came in a Captain Crunch cereal was the tone you needed to access the international trunk of the phone system in North America. And that's what spawned freaking. So we learned how to control. Like, you remember when you had an old phone and you would dial and it'd go do 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 do. Those tones were controlling computers that were enabling your phone call. So all you had to do was blow those tones into the system, right? You know, you remember Terminator 2 Judgment Day when John Connor, uses the Atari Portfolio handheld computer to steal money from the bank?
Yeah.
The reason they used the Portfolio was the Portfolio was built with the right sound processor so that you could literally take a phone and hold it to the speaker and click on somebody's name in your address book, and it would dial their phone number to complete the call for you. Right? That's why they used it, to do the hacking scene. Right? Because the Atari Portfolio out of the box had the right tones in its speaker to do freaking, so you could get free phone stuff. All you had to do was have one in the software. It was an amazing tool.
It's like the old TV remotes you used to get that had that like a click button.
Yeah.
And all it was sending an audio tone to the TV that it could pick up. You know, it wasn't infrared. It wasn't anything like that.
The cable one. Yeah.
It's just like a clicker. You had like your 4 buttons for your clicker, and it would, you could turn the volume up and the volume down, change the channel or whatever. And it was just literally just sending an audio clunk out for the box, and the TV understood it. Yeah, it is. And obviously, it said dogs are wild because it was like ultrasonic or whatever. The dogs didn't like it. And anything could like drive past your TV and just suddenly fucking change the channel because they got the sound.
Right. Yeah, we had an analog box back in the day, and this was when we didn't even have cable TV yet. We had an antenna up, and you had to like spin the dial of the antenna to point it in the right direction to get the channels. But we had this box, and it had like 20 buttons or 25 buttons on it. And you could change the channel from VHF to UHF and pick your channel. But you still had to get up to dial the antenna to the right location. And when my dad got home and figured out that the remote meant he still had to get up to use the antenna, he just put it back in the box on the spot. And he was like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Because where was the dial for the antenna to point it? Beside the TV. So he still had to get up to the TV. You might as well change the channel on your own, right? When we finally got cable, that would have changed, you know.
Yeah.
But we always lived outside of town where we could have like a few acres of property. So I didn't get cable TV until way late. You know,
I'm sure I might be remembering wrong, but didn't you guys have like a big fucking massive satellite dish at one point?
yeah, we had two of them actually. We had when I was like 11 years old, we had one of those massive satellite dishes in the backyard, and my buddies and my friends thought it was the most amazing thing in the world. And what did we watch?
PBS.
Yeah, no, BBC stuff. That my dad got it to get BBC and nature stuff and whatnot. And yeah,
that's why you can speak English proper.
that's why I know all the slang.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. I was talking to my wife about this early
Yeah.
tonight. You know, about how you understand so much British slang so much better than anybody else.
I know.
I said, yeah, it's just from watching BBC stuff.
Yeah, I've been doing it all my life. I mean, whenever you and I are talking, I say all the British words, but when I talk to a North American, I switch to other words. And I've had other people notice that too, but I've heard it all my life, you know? Like I knew the reference to bint being a chick, you know, when I was young. And we had a band in the 80s called the London Choir Boys that came out with a song, It's 7 o'clock, time for the party. Right? And one of the lines in the pre-chorus is, she's just a sweet little bint, but like the way she dances. And my friends, they couldn't figure out the lyric, and I was like, it's she's just a sweet little bint. And they're like, that doesn't make sense. And I'm like, yes, it does. It's British slang. You know, it's like us saying chick, you know.
Why don't you just say chick?
Yeah, well, that probably happened. But I always knew that stuff, you know. Yeah. That's probably why, as a kid, I never lived in a hurricane or a tornado environment, because my dad had to have his fucking satellite dish. Makes sense, right? You know. Holy shit, we've almost been live for 3 hours. We've already made up for the fact that we missed the 42 show.
Wow. We'll better do our little deeds here and say bugger offs for everybody.
Yeah. I to continue this any further, I have to go to the beer store. And with my son coming home in the morning, maybe it's a better idea for me to just like have supper and not have any more beer. It could be an idea. Sometimes adulting gets in the way. But
I think 3 hours of this shit is enough for anybody, isn't it?
Well, you know, could be. So
you can go 24/7 if you want.
Oh, can you imagine? Can you imagine? I'm going to stream myself sleeping. Does anybody want to see? No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Oh, I remember the days of the internet where that was a thing.
I remember hearing that, like, from people talking. Oh yeah, did you see so and so? He's been streaming his life for like 3 days. Who would want to see that?
There was a time when I was watching. What was his name? I think it was like Chris Carrillo or something like that. He's probably on YouTube now doing, you know, really, really well. But he was like a tech
dog
guy.
Training or something.
Yeah, he was like a tech guy, and he basically had like a webcam up, and he just like talk stuff and share his screens and all that kind of stuff, talking about tech. But you know, his webcam would be up all the time, so you could see the sunlight creeping through the curtains in his room, and then at some point How fucking
Truman Show is this? What the fuck?
Exactly. It is very, very strange. The fact that I knew about it and watched it is probably the scariest bit. But
If I ever turned on social media and caught a video of some sorry ass son of a bitch getting out of the shower, that would be the first and only time I ever watched their fucking. No,
I don't think he had cameras on the shower. That's all I can say. I never saw that. Maybe that's a different channel, but
just saying. Yeah, it's creeping me out, man.
But they used to do that. You used to have like like people would like share a house and have cameras everywhere, like Big Brother sort of thing, and you could just like tune into their website and just watch them sleep and then get up and do stuff.
That's fucked up.
But it existed. It existed back in the day.
Well, Pornhub or OnlyFans exists now, so I'm sure that's only an extension, right? Why just watch me sleep when you can watch me sleep with my boyfriend's best friend, or I don't know. Fuck.
Oh, the worst thing is they were just literally sleeping. That's not doing anything, just sleeping. It's so Truman Show.
It's so Truman Show. It's so screwed up.
But they did exist.
Yeah, so did MySpace. So yeah. Let's see here.
Yeah.
Shall we?
Yeah, so come and find us on Friends Reunited.
You know what? We're Dunk and I are going to resurrect MySpace, and it's going to be called Not Yours, Our Space.
Yeah, Dick Space.
We're going to have the most non-social social network out there. The whole idea is you show up, you sign up, and you never show up again.
Yeah. Friends, instead of Friends Reunited, it'd be Friends Don't Want to Talk to Each Other Anymore.
Yeah, we're going to have the social media network that you friend people that you hate and they suck. And what you're going to do is use us as a block list. That sounds perfect.
Well, that just sounds like Friends. What are we doing about?
That's what we're going to call it, the block list. That's what we're going to call it. It's a social media network for people who hate other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. The block list. There we go. Yeah. That's what we're going to do.
And you literally can't make friends with anybody.
Yeah.
You can't make a group.
If you're found to have not offended somebody within the last 30 days, your account will be deleted.
We won't even have a comment section. You won't even be able to talk to people. You won't even be allowed to post.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll have a sexual gift section that's meant to be nasty. So yeah, good consumer advice. Stick with us for all of your social media needs because we got you covered.
Yeah. And you don't need them. Apart from sharing us out. Share us out on social media. You got to do that. Apart from that bit. Yeah.
Speaking of which, before we go, let me just propose something to all the fellow babies here.
I'm already married.
What if we had our own forum, our own sort of Discord, where it's not Discord, it's not any other service, it's private to us on our own server. Nobody's tracking what you say. It's as private could be. We'll call it the block list, and it's just a place where you can hang out with the Shills crew. And unlike Discord and stuff, which is just full of, bots that are trying to sell us subscriptions and horrible fucking sponsorships and stuff, we could have our own private one.
Yeah, and we can sell you t-shirts and underpants and cock rings.
Oh, never forget the cock rings. Yeah, we'll have ones that grow with your presence of the moment. It's terrible. It's terrible. No, go back. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm not sure I do either. So let's say a big thanks to the team. We got Shayna Caldwell on the Shills account tonight. Huge thanks, Shayna. Shayna has just only gotten over being battled by Hurricane Helene. Then she got out. I think okay on Milton. So good. And who else do we got here? PJ CNET. He runs the research team. So big thanks there. Because, I mean, so many times Dunk and I go for the 42 show, and without the research team, we wouldn't have a lot to say. We got Liam Wakefield, NA, and Super Chat Matt. So thanks, everybody.
Yeah, so long, farewell. Now, let's escape to Switzerland and you're going to hide from the Nazis.
Yes, sir. Good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us for a strange evening where we didn't have the show, but we sure had the after show. I know it doesn't make any sense to me either, but that's the way life is.
Hey, maybe we should do it on. We should do the 42 show on Sunday.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, we'll do today's show on Sunday and then do PubChat.
So on Sunday, get ready for some news that you should have heard today, so it'll be old by then. Is that no?
It'll be old news, but it's all right. Yeah, don't worry about it. We'll carry on.
Keep your stick on the ice, fellow babies.
And keep your dick in a vice.